Welcome back, Mr. Sambu. I hope you have had some lunch.
Yes, I did.
And may I remind you that you're still under oath? We have a few more topics to go. So far,
My telephone is ringing. Let me put it off. I'm sorry.
lunch must have been very good.
Right now. Sorry.
Are we okay?
We are set.
So far, we have covered the following violations. The torture of the Farafenni attackers, of which you were aware and did not do anything there to stop it other than to speak to the Director General as you claim. And the other one is the torture of the journalist who made allegations against Sambaba, mistaken allegations. That was Musa Sise and, sorry, Musa Serikan and Madi Sise. We've also dealt with the Freedom newspaper saga. And we have dealt with the Ndur Cham issue. Those who are arrested, tortured, at the NIA headquarters. Including Wasa Kamara, Tamsir Jase, Yaya Dabo, Bunja Dabo, and others. And the arrest and torture of Mariam Dentin, Ramzi Diab, and others.
Arrest bo xamne ak mitital tek nañ ko Mariam Dentin ak Ramzi Diab ak ñeneen.
Okay. So we've dealt with all these.
Yima lim ni yépp nak waxtané nañ ko.
Okay. Now we have to deal with the disappearances, as you called it.
Légui nak ñu ñëw ci ñi nga xamne dañoo jékki-jékki rek réer comme ni nga ko waxé.
The floor is yours.
Légui jëla kàddu bi.
Lead counsel, the issue of this disappearance, especially for my late friend Daba Marina,
lu jëm ci fànnaay ñi nga xam ne dañ réer rawatina kenn ki nga xam ne suma xarit la woon di Daba Marina,
was the blackest incident in my tenure as DG.
mooy nag li gënoon a lëndëm ci suma jamono.
I convinced Daba to move over from the police to the NSS.
Man maa wax ak Daba mu jógee ko ci police gi ñëw NSS.
in August 1988.
ci weeri August 1988.
The then Nigerian technical advisor
keneen ki nga xam ne ni moo daan yedd ci wàllu liggéey di ab Nigerian
under Sir Dawda's regime
ci jamono nguuri Sir Dawda
recommended that the police special branch and the NSS be integrated.
ràññee woon nag ne benn banqaas ci police yi ak NSS ñu dal di leen boole.
And I was assigned to go and convince the boys at the police to come over.
boobaa nag ci lañ ma jox nag liggéey boobu pour ma dal di dem ci la oo nag boy yooyu pour ñu ñëw.
Everybody came except Daba.
ñëpp ñëw ba mu des Daba.
And one Mr. Cham.
ak kenn ku ñu xamee Mr. Cham.
He said, okay, we'll think over it.
mu ne ma waaw dinaa ko seetaat.
By Monday.
dinaa ko seetaat.
On the Monday, I went back to the police.
ci altine ga ma delluwaat sa police ga.
And convinced him to come with me to State House.
ma neexal ko nag mu ànd ak ñun man ñëw State House.
To discuss with,
ñu wax
to talk him into coming over.
ci la ñu waxtaan ak moom ba yóbbu xelam nag pour mu ñëw bokk si.
So he moved over.
so bi mu toxusee.
This obviously the service conditions were better.
jamono boobu nag service bi ni mu nekkin ba daal moo gënoon a yéwén.
And he was a sergeant.
booba nag ci maqaamam sergeant la toll.
He was given a better grade.
lañ ko dal di gënoon a yokkal pay.
Because he was a very good field operator.
ndax jamono boobu ku màcc la ci liggéeyam.
And we moved on.
ñu continue.
When the military took over,
jamono bi ñu defee coup d'état
came, the NIA was created.
jamono boobu nag lañ sampa NIA.
And people like Marena were transferred.
ku mel ni kii Marena ci lañ ko dal di toxal foofu.
And I also came over. I was integrated from the Ministry of Works.
may tamit jamono boobu te leen ci lañ ma booleen ci Ministry of Work.
And we met again.
ñu dolli tasewaat.
And our bond continued, of course.
suñ jàppalante bi nag continuer.
He respected me very much. He called me my boss.
mu ciral ma lool di ma ooyee suma boss.
As Director of Administration and Finance,
xam ne ni maa jiite woon buntu bi saytu mbiri doxalini liggéeykat yi ak buntu koppar yi.
I was responsible for many administrative matters.
xam ne ni gàddoo naa am na yu bari yoo xam ne mu ngi jëm ci wàllu tëddalini liggéey bi.
I organized training sessions
dama daan woote ay njàngale ay tàggat.
and programs.
ak ay tëddalin programmes.
So I made sure
pour gis ne.
he was included in all the groups that traveled to Nigeria.
dana bokk ci kuréel yi nga xam ne ñëpp tukki nañ dem Nigeria. Germany.
Libya. And Morocco.
ak Morocco.
He got very good training.
mu am nag njàng mu baax.
on the field.
ci liggéey bi.
So obviously he rose very quickly.
ci kaw loolu nag ci la maqaamam gaaw lool muy gën a yokk.
He was very willing.
ndax nekkoon na koo xam ne ku amoon itte la.
Eventually,
kaw loolu.
he was posted to the State House as liaison officer.
ci lañ ko dal di yóbbu na State House mu nga xam ne nii moo fa nekkal ki toogal NIA foofu.
That's where he forged his personal relationship with the then President Yahya Jammeh.
foofu nag fa la sose nag jokkoom ak Yahya Jammeh.
I left at some time.
ci yenn jamono nag ma bàyyi.
Went to the Foreign Service.
dem nag ci liggéey bitim réew yi.
And went to the Ministry of Health.
dem ci ministry bi saytu wàllu wét garam gi.
And IEC.
ak buntu liggéeykaay bi saytu mbiri wote ak kontem karta yi ci réew mi.
During that time,
ci jamono boobu nag.
he became DG.
mu nekk directeur général di borom kër gi.
And he would call me, my boss.
ba léegi rek daf may ooyee my boss.
What do I do in this case? What do I do in this case?
ci defaat bu mel nii lan laa cey def ak lan laa cey def.
When I went to the UK,
bi ma demee nag réewi Angleterre.
do my masters.
pour def nag suma maqaama masters.
Sambaba left.
daba ci la bàyyi.
Sambaba left.
Sambaba ci la bàyyi.
So he was grooming me for me to take over.
ma doon di yar na pour man ma jël.
But I said I was going to study.
waaye nag ci laa ko wax ne ko man damay dem pour yokk suma njàng.
Before I came back,
balaa maa ñëw.
Marina took over from him.
ci lañ fal nag Marina.
When I called one day,
àggee foofu seeti ko benn bés.
DG's office, I got Marina.
bi mu téléphoné nag ci office DG ci la am Marina.
Said, my boss. I said, yes.
la ko wax my boss mu ne ko waaw.
What are you doing out there up till now?
lan ngay def foofu ci biir ba léegi.
I said, I have not finished yet. I'm coming.
ne ko pareegu maa ngi ñëw.
He said, I'm the one sitting here. The Sambaba has gone.
mu ne ko maa fi nekk de Sambaba moom dem na.
But hurry up and come. You know, people like me don't sit behind desks.
xam nga ne suma ku mel ni man duy nekkee ci gannaaw ko na gaawal ñëw.
I'm a groundsman.
man ci suuf rek laay dox.
I said, okay, it's all right, don't worry.
laa ko wax bul jaale maa ngi ñëw.
When I came back,
bi ma ñëwaatee.
for some reason or another, I was transferred to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
ci ay dogal ci lañ ma yóbbuwaat ci ministre bi saytuwaat doxalin bitim réewi Gambia.
And I heard from Nigeria, he had also been removed.
ca Nigeria ci laa dégg ne daal génne nañu ko.
And taken to Basse as commissioner.
lañ ko yóbbu Basse mu nekk fa commissioner.
Then I think it's between that time he came back. I don't know what happened.
diggante boobu nag ci lañ ko indiwaat.
I was at the IEC.
boobu man maa ngi nekk ci IEC.
Until I heard I was called to State House to go and take over from
jamono boo xam ne woo nañ ma dem State House pour dal di jël liggéey bi.
in March 2006.
ci weeri March atum 2006.
Let me ask you this.
ma laaj la.
You were called to State House.
dañ la oo State House.
And told that your friend has been arrested.
wax la ne sa xarit bi day jàpp nañ ko.
And you are asked to take his job.
ci lañ la wax ne na nga jël palaasam.
How did you feel when you got this news?
bi nga jotee xibaar boobu loo yëg.
Obviously, I asked what happened.
ci laa laajte nag lu xew.
I was told he was detained.
ci lañ ma wax ne ñu ngi ko jàppa.
I said, what happened?
ci laa wax lu xew.
He said there was an attempted coup.
lañ ma wax ne dafa am coup buñ doon fexe.
Oh, yeah?
mais waaw.
Yes, and he is involved.
te tamit nag dal dinañ ko ci tuumaal.
Say, oh, yeah?
nga ne yee.
Okay, I went to the SG's office.
ci laa dem si office yi SG bi.
And as you asked me previously, he said there are instructions for you to go and take over there.
comme ni nga ma laajoon ci gannaaw rek ne am nañ ndigal ne pour nga dem jël foofa.
And here is your letter.
lii mooy sa leetar bi.
Immediate effect.
ak si saa si la nag.
I went.
ci laa dem.
But I didn't.
You still haven't said how you feel.
I was shocked.
amoon naa naqar.
Because I knew Marina.
ndax xamoon naa Marina.
I don't think.
Stage you thought that must have been a lie.
bon jamono jooju yaa ngi jàppoon ne bon liñ ko tuumaan noonu du dëgg.
Well, I definitely did not think anything because I didn't know anything about the coup.
booba de wax dëgg yàlla xalaatuma dara ndax may xamumoon dara ci coup
Well,
bi.
if you believed at that time that he wouldn't be involved in a coup, that you must have therefore believed that the allegation against him must have been false.
wax nga fi bon bu fekkee ne yow gëmuloo ne moom day nit la koo xam ne dina war a dugg ci fas.
You took the job.
waaye ba léegi nga jël liggéey bi.
Yes, I took the job.
waaw dama jël liggéey bi.
In spite of everything.
Lead counsel.
li xew yëpp.
I have told you on numerous times and occasions.
wax naa la si yoon yu bëree bëri.
Yaya Jammeh.
affaire yi Yaya Jammeh.
One has very little space to maneuver.
lu néew la nit mën a am pour mucc ci. wala
I am director to
am
the
naa
State
ku ma
House.
call ne naa dem uyu ji ca State House.
I go, I sit down, the SG calls me into his office.
ba ma demee SG bi oo ma ci office am.
Says, boss says I should tell you this.
mu ne ma boss mu ne ma wax la lii.
Wait for your letter.
xaaral sa letter bi.
Well, you could say no.
mënoon ngaa wax déedéet.
Yaya Jammeh?
Yes.
Yaya Jammeh.
waaw.
Yes, at a risk and peril.
ci anam goo xam ne ak anam ak rappel la.
But you have struggled to give me an example of a person who refused Yaya Jammeh's job or refused his unlawful order and something wrong happened to him. You haven't given me an example.
waaye waxaguloo ma
I
fi
don't
misaal
remember.
koo xam ne Yaya Jammeh jox na ko ndigal mu bañ ko.
I don't remember.
mënuma fàttaliku loolu.
Of late,
Because there aren't any or many.
te amut wala bariwul.
in 2013 or 14,
atum 2014 wala 13.
a former minister for local government and lands,
boo xam ne ni moo nekkoon ministre bi saytu wàllu nguur gu ndaw gi ak suuf si.
Junkun Koli,
Junkun Koli.
with whom I was in exile in Senegal,
koo xam ne ni maa mooma àndandoon biñ nekkoon di daw ci biir làqu bi Sénégal.
was appointed minister.
dañ ko faloon ministre.
He didn't want it.
buggutoon ko.
And he went to the vice president then, Aïssatou Ndiaye Seydi,
mu dem si vice président bi jamono jooju Aïssatou Ndiaye Seydi.
discussed the issue.
waxtaan kook moom.
But he was told point blank that this is an order.
waaye nag ci lañ ko wax lu leer ne ko lii nag ndigal la.
And I think he was asked to swear in there.
si foofu lañ ko wax sax ne mu waati liggéey bi.
A few weeks later, he ran away and went to Senegal.
ay bés yu ay gannaaw loolu ci la daw dem Sénégal.
He did not want.
te buggutoon ko.
Clearly, he did not want it.
loolu leer na ne bugg ko woon.
He ran away.
mu daw.
Ran away.
Well, those who wanted it stayed.
ñi ko bugga nag ñoom dañ des.
Yes,
waaw.
I am trained.
dañ ma
That
jàngal.
job. And I was once a deputy to the Director General.
am na yenn jamono maa toppoon ci borom kër ga.
If I have the opportunity, why not give it a try?
suñ ma joxee bunte boobu ndax duma ko fexee jël ko.
So you wanted the job.
bon naga bëggoon liggéey bi.
I wouldn't say no.
duma wax déedéet.
So in spite of all the things that you know to have surrounded that job, you put yourself in it, volunteer non fit injuria.
No.
You knew what it entailed. You xamoon nga ne lii fo ak jaan la. So jaan dina la mata.
Did. Man xam naa place boobu.
I knew that place.
Bañ koo jagar.
Then it was
Few months
established.
after.
Few months after.
laa fa dem.
That's the time I went there.
Ma jàppal Samba Ba ñu toppatoo place bi ekkati ko ba fi mu toll woon.
I worked with Samba about where it is.
And even during that time,
te waxtu boobu sax.
at the very early years of the NIA,
ci jamono at yu njëkk yi nga xam ne ci lañ sampa NIA.
torture and falsification of evidence prevailed.
mbiri mitital ak di tappale ay seede firnde yooyu mu ngi doon dox.
He said at the very beginning, I went to the NIA about 6 to 7 months after it was established.
nga ne si njëlbeen ni jamono njëkk ci NIA man gannaaw juróom-ñaari weer buñ ko sampee laa fa
That
dem.
was 1995.
loolu ati 1995 la woon.
94.
94.
July 94.
July 1994,
Yes.
and 6 months later would take you to January 95.
July 94 boo ci tegee juróom benn weer bon January 95 la.
Around the end of 94, I went there.
ci njeexteel atum 1994 laa fa dem.
And few years down the line, the NIA developed a reputation of being a torture chamber.
ci at yu néew rek gannaaw buñ ko sampee NIA ñu xamee ko ne béréb la boo xam ne béréb bi mettital nit ñi rek di leen toroxal.
So if you did not want to be part of it,
léegi bu fekkee ne yow bëgguloo woon a bokk ci loolu.
why accept the job?
lu tax nga nangoo jël liggéey bi.
Within my limits, I did what I could.
ci fi nga xam ne nii fa laa toll dama def li nga xam ne loolu laa man.
I told Samba Ba quite right.
ci laa wax Samba Ba.
Quite clearly.
mu leer nañ.
That this thing is not acceptable.
lii nag nekkul luñ mën a nangu.
We can understand that.
He told me I was a coward.
ci la ma wax ne ma yow ab tapen nga.
But the difficulty I have,
man li suma jafe-jafe ci mbir mi mooy.
you are in the outside.
yow yaa ngi woon ci biti.
And you know that what was happening at the NIA was not acceptable.
te xamoon nga ne liy dox biir NIA du luñ mun a nangu.
Yet you accepted to come and lead it.
waaye terew ba léegi nangu
In
ngaa jël
spite of
liggéey
your
bi
knowledge
nga
that
jiite.
what was happening there was not acceptable.
te yow xamoon nga ne li fa doon dox du luñ war a mun a nangu.
Not from the outside, from the inside.
nekku ci biti ci biir la.
That is even worse. But the fact of the matter is here you are head of operations at the IEC.
boobu moo gën a bon sax yow yaa jiite woon nañoo doxalee liggéey ci liggéey.
You are now being brought to come and accept a job which you believe was unacceptable.
yow nag ñu jëlee la fa indi la jox la liggéey boo xam ne xam nga ne du façon liggéey bi ñu war a mun a nangu.
You said it was unacceptable. What was going on?
I didn't say that.
waxuma loolu.
Well, you just told us that what was happening at the NIA was unacceptable.
When I went in there and saw what was happening.
No, but even before you went there for your third stint.
Second.
Well, third stint in the intelligence. Second stint at NIA. You knew that what was going on in there was unacceptable. You knew that as early as 1996.
depuis atum 1996 xamoon nga ne li fa dox du luñ war a mun a nangu.
And you believed that that was unacceptable.
te gëmoon nga itam ne loolu du luñ war a mun a nangu.
Yet you accepted to lead that institution which was doing work that was unacceptable.
Changes can happen from within.
wecceeku mun naa
I thought I could do something.
yaakaaroon naa ne mën naa dem def.
Or you thought Yaya Jammeh has suddenly metamorphosed from being Machiavellian to being benign and easily convinced by a Harisambo.
I don't know.
Amadi.
I have a training.
dama am njàng.
But Mr. Sambo,
knowledge.
isn't it correct that you knew fully well at that time in 2006 that Yaya Jammeh had become a fully fledged dictator, that Yaya Jammeh would not listen to you? You knew that, didn't you?
waaye yow xamoon nga jamono bi atum 1996 di jot ne Yaya Jammeh nit la ko xam ne yow doo mun a wécc li nga xam ne woon jikko bi mu amee woon ne nguuri jaay doole rek la nekkee woon.
You knew that.
xamoon
There
nga
are times where Yaya Jammeh listened.
yenn mi léegoo-léeg Yaya Jammeh dana dee
I
déglu.
told lead counsel here that I gave Yaya Jammeh my honest, objective, and technical opinion. Depending on his whims and caprices, he would apply them or accept them.
wax naa fii lead counsel li nga xam ne nii moo nekkoon.
My job was
my
to
xalaat.
advise, and that's it.
But Mr. Sambo, the truth is you would tailor your advice to him on the basis of his mood.
waaye Mr. Sambo li xewoon mooy ne yow sa ndigalam saa yoo ko koy jox dang dee seet ci yan anam la toll nga joxe ko ko noonu.
The advices are written. You put it on his table and you go away.
li digal yooyu nag dama ko dañ ko daan bind danga koy teg si taabulam bi nga dem.
Yes, he has
So
a
you
copy,
don't
have
try
a
to
copy.
convince him.
léegi doo dee fexe daal
If he
pour
feels
xiirtal
like
ko mu
discussing
nangu.
it, he does. Once in a while, you sit down.
But tell
openly
us,
discuss
in
it.
all honesty, did you really think at that time in 2006 that really Yaya Jammeh would listen to you?
wax ñu nag sa diggante ak yàlla ne
We
ndax
have
yow
your
foogoon nga ne atum 2006 dëgg Yaya Jammeh doonoon na koo xam ne yow Hadi Sambu dina la déglu.
You have detailed, catalogued extensively your relationship with Yaya Jammeh.
Yes.
yow feeñal nga fi yaatal nga li nga xam ne mooy woon sa jokkoo ak Yaya Jammeh.
You knew at that time
amoon nga
that this
ne
was a poisoned chalice that you were going to take.
xamoon nga jamono boobu ne li ab poson la boo xam ne yaa ngi ko doon war a nangu.
The Honorable Chairman yesterday said that even with Yaya Jammeh, you have to give him his chance to defend himself, have to be fair to him.
Yes, of course, you are being
Yaya Jammeh-
given a chance.
So
Mr.
Yaya
Jammeh.
Jammeh is a human being after all.
Yaya Jammeh nit la woon rek.
But the fact of the matter is, you knew exactly what you were
bi
getting.
mooy xamoon nga li nga xam ne ci nga doon dugal sa boppa te nga dugga ci.
Yesterday, I told lead counsel yesterday, I asked him, I say, is lead counsel trying to and believe that everything about Yaya Jammeh was evil and 100%. Yaya Jammeh was a human being and fallible or like everybody else. He had his bad sides and those are...
Really, is It's not about Yahya Jammeh. The question is about you. The question is, you accepted that job knowing fully well what awaited you. If it was the first time you didn't know the NIA was a torture chamber, you can have that excuse, oh, I didn't know this is what I was going to find there. But you knew fully well, you were Deputy Director General before, you knew that, didn't you?
su fekkee ne xamuloo woon ne béréb la woon boo xam ne NIA dañ ko jël rek di fa mitital di toroxal di mbugal nit ñi mun nañoo wax ne xamuloo ko waaye yow nekkoon nga fa nekkoon nga ki toppa ci njiit la NIA waaye terewul nga jël liggéey bi te xamoon nga la fa nekk.
I started off with institutional reforms when I went into.
But Mr. Sambu, in fact, from day one, you presided over the commencement of this panel that was going to carry out the torture of Gambians from day one.
Chanjel be yow yaa jiite woon panel bi mu jàmbur yooyu nga xam ne ñoom lañ tànnoon pour ñu def ay gëstu yaa ko jiite woon ca bam commencé.
That was day one.
True
or false?
I told council that I did not know that that was what they were doing there.
But this is the issue. You suddenly
impression that that was not it.
Just a moment, but you suddenly believe that the leopard has changed its spots?
Well, don't leopard change their spots, no?
Do they?
I don't know.
Well, so you had no expectation that Jammeh had changed?
Lead council. I thought and I believed I could play a role.
But here you are. Yes, I know you knew you would play a role, but here you are. Even your friend, who you helped or you convinced to bring into the service, you have seen that he's been done in. They did him in. You did not believe the accusation against him one bit. Yet you were happy and contented to take over his position, knowing fully well what lay ahead.
Wa legi yow yaangi ni sa xarita ngi ni ko xamne orna la xam nga naka la mel ñu jël ko duggal ko nit la ko xamne dañ ko duggal ci mbir mo xamne xamul ci dara ci niñ ko waxe legi nak way terewul ñu génné ko ca palaasam nga kontaan pour uutu ko palaasam te xamone nga lang fa fekk.
It was not a matter of being happy and contented.
Please read council.
No.
Did it?
You did not take it under protest, did you?
No, I took it willingly.
Well, I guess that answers the question, so I would just move on.
Lead council will allow me to move on, or lead council will move on? We were talking about.
No, we will all move on to something else. Well, the answer I believe is quite clear. I told you took it voluntarily. Now you said you take it willfully. So we proceed.
Wa legi nak tontu bobu doyna ma mun nañu jall ci leneen ndax dama la wax ne liggéey bi da place bi dañ la ko jox nga nangu ko ci sa ciobare bop nga ne waaw bon lolu doyna ma nañ jall ci leneen.
Now let's see what happened to Daba.
Legi nak nañ seet li xamne mo dal Daba.
You've told us as far as his arrest.
Wax nga ñu la aju ci li nga xamne non lañ ko jappé.
As per what I heard.
Comme li ma ko déggé.
Yes.
Wow.
A few days into my taking office at the NIA,
ay fan gannaaw bi nga xamé ni jël na NIA,
he was brought in.
Ci lañ ko indi.
Proceed, please.
He was brought in to hand over.
Ci lañ ko indi pour mu jébalé buntu liggéey kay bi.
Escorted by the late Tumbul Tamba and Musa Jammeh.
ñi ko fa ànd ak moom nag mooy lépp ndem si yàlla Tumbul Tamba ak Musa Jammeh.
And other soldiers.
ak yeneen i soldaar.
There was no written handing over.
amul nag jébalante boo xam ne dañ ko bindoon.
It's a formal affair about 10-15 minutes.
mbir lu gàtt la woon rek ay fukki minutes ak juróom.
He said, my boss.
mu ne ma suma boss.
He said, so I heard you are the one who took over from here.
dégg naa nag yow yaa ma utu. mu ne waaw.
I am relieved.
mu ne ma nag fi mu nekk nii génne nañ ma ci.
that you took over.
léegi jël nga.
fi mu nekk suma xel dal na.
suma xel dal na.
ne yow yaa fi ne.
nde yow yaa fi ne.
Good luck.
ñaanal ma.
Please remember my family.
ngay bàyyi xel nag suma njaboot gi.
Mariama and the children.
Mariama ak xale yi.
I said okay.
ma ne ko waaw.
Left and they left.
ci lañ ko yóbbu.
Was whisked away.
yóbbu ko.
It was the last time I saw him.
ba mooy bu jëntali jamono boo xam ne nii gis naa ko.
Last time I heard about him.
wala ma dégg ko.
Last time you heard from him.
Yes.
But not about him.
nga mujjé déggé ci moom waaye mujjuloo dégg ay mbiram.
Indeed, from him.
And even soon after that,
you
heard about him.
gannaaw loolu sax dégg nga mbiram.
Tell us about it.
wax ñu naka la.
One morning,
benn suba,
I had a phone call from the then Chief of Defense Staff, Langtombong Tamba.
ci la am téléphone call bu jógee ci Langtombong Tamba mooy Chief of Armed Force.
Inviting me to a meeting of service chiefs.
ci la ma oo nag ci benn jotaay boo xam ne nii njiiti service yi ñoo fay daje.
Chief of Defense Staff of the Gambian National Army.
Chief of Defense Staff Gambian National Army ki jiite soldat yi.
Myself, the acting DG NIA.
man ci suma bopp nga xam ne maa yaxantu nag ci njiitalu NIA.
And the Inspector General of Police, Ousmane Sonko.
ak ki nga xam ne nii moo jiite woon police yi Ousmane Sonko.
Where was the meeting to be held?
fan lañ doon defee ndaje boobu.
Bear with me. At the office of the Inspector General of Police.
ci office yi Inspector General bu police bi.
And I drove my car and went.
ci laa dawal suma oto ma dem.
And we met.
ci lañ seq jotaay.
Who did you find there?
kan nga fa fekk.
At the meeting.
ci meeting bi.
I met with Langtombong there.
Langtombong Tamba daa fa fekk.
The Inspector General of Police.
ki nekkoon njiiti police yi.
Mr. Samu, kindly speak up or draw the microphone.
The Inspector General of Police.
Inspector General bu police bi.
And
ak
Captain Tumbul Tamba.
ak Captain Tumbul Tamba.
The late.
dem si yàlla la léegi.
And at the meeting.
ci meeting bi.
Tumbul Tamba rose up.
ci la Tumbul Tamba jóg taxaw.
And informed us in the meeting.
ci la ñu yëgal ci biir meeting bi.
That he had news to break to us.
am na benn xibaar bu mu ñu war a nettali.
That 5 persons.
daal lu dem ci juróomi nit.
Daba Marina.
bokk na ci di Daba Marina.
I remember all of them.
mënuma fàttaliku ñëpp.
I think Ibulo.
mu ak fam naa Ibulo.
One Ba, Aliou or Ablay.
kenn ku ñu xamee Ba Aliou wala Ablay.
Aliou and Alpha.
Aliou ak Alpha.
Yes, the 5 of them.
ñoom juróom.
Were being transported.
Aliou Ba, Daba Marina, man la fi koor.
Man la fi koor.
Alpha, then Ibulo.
Yes, were being transported.
ne dañ leen doon yóbbu.
In a car.
ci ab oto.
To Janjanbureh prisons.
ñu dem Janjanbureh kaso gu mag gi nekkee ci Janjanbureh.
And the vehicle they were in.
ci oto bi ñu nekkoon.
Some assaulted.
mu suppa jaleñ.
And the prisoners escaped.
ñu dal di rëcc.
That's what he said.
loolu la la wax.
I think that's what he said. I think that's.
yaakaar naa loolu la ma wax loolu la wax.
We all looked at each other.
ñun ñëpp ñu xoolante.
My colleagues.
suma nawle yi fa nekkoon.
Looked shocked.
ñu am lu leen jaaxal lool.
Surprised.
ak njaaxare.
Just like myself.
comme man ci suma bopp rek.
I was dumbfounded. I didn't know what to say.
jamono boobu nag suma làmmeñ la mun a xaw ma lan laay wax.
Just kept my cool.
ma noppi noonu rek.
So they said.
lañ wax
This
ne
was the situation.
lii nag moo am.
So Langtombong said.
Langtombong ne.
The head of state.
borom réew mi.
Needed to be informed.
war nañ ko koy wax.
But
waaye
before that,
balaa loolu.
we were supposed to draft a press statement.
waaye war nañoo bind benn bataaxel boo xam ne dina jëm ci bunti taseekaay xibaar yi.
I'm not very sure, but I think that was in consultation with the head of state.
leeru ma ne ndax mooy boo nekk jamono boo xam ne ñu ngi diisoo borom réew mi.
Mr. Sambu.
Not very sure.
This whole issue
Sambu mbir mi yépp
is shrouded in a lot of unexplained facts.
dafa taxañu ci ay mbir yoo xam ne daal dëgg yu leerut la.
I'm trying to explain.
maa ngi commencé biral nag pour leeral.
Okay, proceed then.
So he proposed that we write a press statement.
lañ xalaat na ne ñu bind benn bataaxel buy jëm ci bunti taseekaay xibaar yi.
To send it to the press.
ñu yónnee ko bunti taseekaay xibaar yi.
And inform the general public.
ñu yëgal mbooloo mi.
Then.
gannaaw loolu.
We go to HE.
ñu dem ci président bi.
Inform him.
yëgal ko ko.
You see, we've received evidence on this. And the more versions we receive, the more questions we have. First thing is, you mean the service chiefs would issue a press release, inform the public, and then go to Yahya Jammeh and inform him of something as serious as that?
Service bidina wara binda hiba bo hamda ko tasare ci taskate hiba dor ko yegal Yahya Jammeh ci mbir mo xamne lu graw la lu tollu nonu.
That would not happen in the Gambia of Babili Mansa that we all knew and talked about.
I also asked myself.
Then you know how it will say heads would roll.
I also asked myself that question, lead counsel. There where I sat, I was not thinking of Marina. Thinking of myself. Because as Director General of NIA, Security Intelligence, if this thing had happened, and I did not inform the head of state, as purportedly said over there, what would happen to me?
But that's precisely my issue here.
Just a moment. Lead counsel, you asked me a question. This is very serious.
Just a moment, yes. I know you had this position. That's what you said you had. Yet you went along with this approach of informing the public before you informed Yahya Jammeh. Because that is, in fact, now double jeopardy. Or maybe, in fact, a double whammy. But not only that, you had first failed to detect this huge intelligence issue.
That's right.
And then, you, having failed to do that, you chose to inform the public before you informed Yahya Jammeh. That is a little bit unbelievable.
Lead counsel.
Lead counsel.
There where I sat. I had what the Akus call Beleron. I was thinking of myself. What would happen?
But then, thinking about yourself, you would have self-preserved. That is, okay, you know what, I have to rush and tell my boss.
Why come yang don halat sa bop li nga waron def fofu moy nga ne xaar len ma daw ñëk ko yegal suma boss
balañ ko yegal before informing the public
balañ ko yegal askan wi
but there you were, you agreed to commit a second violation.
Why yaange ni nga dal di nango bokka ci lo xamne benen yaxal wala
moy that is to inform the public before you inform Jammeh.
Moy nga yegal ko nit ñi bala nga ko yegal Jammeh.
Easy to say today.
Hey,
hey, easy to say today.
Anyway.
And the other irony, Mr. Sambu, is that the person who came to inform you came from State House.
leneen li ci doy waar mooy yow ki leen ñëw pour yégal leen ko State House la bàyyee ko.
Exactly so.
noonu la.
Exactly so.
Did you ask him whether he had informed Jammeh?
ndax laajoon ngeen ko na yégal na ko Jammeh.
At that moment, I lost my thinking capacity.
ci jamono boobu nag suma xel mi sax dafa demoon.
I had lost my thinking capacity.
jamono boobu suma xel moo demoon.
And a third one is, why you?
ñetteel bi mooy pour yow lan.
Why come to you three?
lu tax mu ñëw ci yéen ñetta.
You are not responsible for those people. After all, they were detained where? At Mile 2 prisons. Maximum security.
yéen ñooñu nekkul woon ci seen ron ñu ngi leen téye woon tëj leen ca kaso Mile 2.
Why you?
lu tax ñu ñëw ci yéen.
I cannot answer that question.
laajte boobu mënuma koo tontu. mënuma koo tontu de.
Another question.
beneen laajte bi.
You had a representative at Mile 2 prison, didn't
nga
you?
ku leen teewal toogal Mile 2 prison.
The NIA always had representatives at Mile 2 prison.
NIA saa yu nekk dañ daan am ku leen toogal.
NIA and military intelligence, they had representatives at Mile 2 prison.
NIA ak soldat yi jamono bu ci nekk dañ
Except
daan am.
if you tell us that David Colley is lying in his testimony.
xanaa bu fekkee ne David Colley waxul dëgg de.
But the NIA, up to today, the NIA has representatives at Mile 2 prison.
waaye NIA ba tey jamono yuñ toll nii am nañ ñu leen toogal Mile 2 prison.
You don't what?
Remember.
loolu fàttalekuuma ko.
I don't remember that aspect, that part of what you are saying.
loolu moom fàttalekuuma boor boobu ngay waxee.
Did you ask, did you interrogate the information that was given? Did you ask any questions?
ndax biñ leen joxe xibaar boobu ndax toftal nga ci yeneen i laajte def nga ci ay gëstu.
I just sat there.
dama fa toog rek.
In bewilderment.
jaaxle rek.
How about your friends, your colleagues? Did they ask any questions?
sa nawle yooyu nga xam ne ñoom nga fa nekkaloon ndax am na benn laajte buñ laajte.
Well, they asked him what happened, how it happened.
laaj nañ ko naka la amee.
And he narrated
ki la ko nettali.
that the vehicle somersaulted.
ne oto bi dafa suppa jalañ.
Did he say where the vehicles were, where the somersaulted vehicles are?
wax nañ la moto yooyu nga xam ne ñoo suppa jalañ fan lañ nekkoon.
Yet he said it was in Fonye.
wax na ne
Exactly.
boori ci biir Fooñi la.
Did he produce any pictures?
am na
2006, mobile phones were capable of taking pictures.
am na yenn nataal yu ñu leen woon ndaxte atum 2000 fekk na téléphone mobile yi mënoon nañoo jël ay nataal.
In my presence, no.
ci suma kanam déedéet.
Did you see anything?
Apart from what he said, no.
gannaaw li mu wax déedéet.
And yet, 3 service chiefs accepted what he said, hook, line, and sinker without question.
ba léegi yéen ñi nga xam ne yéen ñetta ñooñu yëpp ay njiit lañ yoo xam ne ñu ngi jiite ay bunti kaaraanga yu am solo ci réew mi ngeen nangul ko kàddu yooyu mu wax rek te laaju leen ko dara.
I personally did.
man si suma bopp laajte naa.
What did you ask him?
loo ko laaj.
dara.
Isn't it the case that this was in fact a meeting that was aimed at fabricating a story on behalf of a government that has just slaughtered its citizens?
looloo ne loolu ndaje moomu ngeen oote woon ndaje la boo xam ne rek ngeen mun cee waxtaanee lu bokk ci nguur goo xam ne ñu ngi rey rek seeni ay doomi réew.
That is what it turned out to be later when I found out.
mujjee gi nag loolu la mujjee nekk.
Mr. Sambu, did your colleagues know that these 5 individuals were executed unlawfully by the government of the Gambia?
Mr. Sambu ndax say nawle yooyu sa naataango yooyu nga xam ne ñoom nga fa nekkaloon xam nañ ne juróomi nit ñii nguur gi dañ leen rey ci ay anam yoo xam ne àndut ak luwaa.
ni ma ko mën a waxee ci olof nga baalal ma.
Please go ahead.
lii luñ toogal la ba pare.
This is something that they already cooked.
ñu yekka.
ñun
ñëpp ñu lekka.
and this is out and we all
They dished it out for all of us to consume.
Yes, including me. I will not get myself out of it. I was in there.
boole ma ci man ci suma bopp du ma ci génne suma bopp de maa ngi fa woon.
But the thing is, you extricated yourself from the cooking.
Of course.
You only ate it, you only consumed it and digested it.
I had no knowledge of anything.
xama woon ci dara.
Dara ak Bible bi. Dara.
This Holy Bible.
My first and Holy Communion.
We have seen people swear here, Mr. Sabu.
You have. You see it a lot of times, but I am doing it for myself. My kids and my family, my personal reputation as a true Christian.
Tell me honestly, did you have a suspicion that your colleagues in fact participated in the cooking, as you call it?
wax ñu sa diggante ak yàlla ndax gunga ni sa ay nawle yooyu am nañ loxo ci togga boobu comme ni nga ko waxee ne ni nga ko doon togga.
Afterwards, yes.
Naaw loolu waaw.
Could you tell us about it?
wax ñu naka la.
Langtombong was deeply involved in the arrests and detentions and the bringing interrogations of detainees at the panel or at the mile 2 premise A. NIA.
Langtombong muy xóotoon lool ci jàpp ak téye ak mbiri gestu ñooñu ci ati NIA bi.
Usman Sonko would intermittently also go and attend the sessions.
Ousmane Sonko moom it léegi dana dee dem teew ci gestu boobu moo xam nag ci bëccëg bi la wala ci guddi gi.
But equally, Harry Sambu would meet with Sajame or receive reports from Haidara, the chairman of the commission, of the panel, and would even occasionally go to the panel. So you are all in the same boat.
Bear with me, please.
In the same kitchen.
Bear with me. You are not allowing me to finish what I'm saying or explain myself.
I can interject now and again and put propositions. It appears you were all in the same kitchen.
I had a feeling. That's what you say. I am not, and I was not involved. Oblivious of the whole thing. And
what are your other reasons for suggesting that your colleagues knew what was happening?
I don't know. I have a feeling they wouldn't have trusted me 100% to get involved along with them in such things.
But would it surprise?
Amoon naa yaakaar ne ñoom amoon óoluwuñu woon ma pour ma ànd ak ñoom ci jamono jooju.
Would it surprise you to also note that Lam Tombong had the same feeling?
Dina la bett nag pour nga gëm ne Lam Tombong tam loolu nga yëg ni nga ko gisee moom noonu la ko gisee.
That this thing was cooked up between the NIA and the police and State House, and he wouldn't know anything about it?
You're
laughing, Mr. Sam.
That's funny. But we had Lang Tombong sit here and said he was never tortured.
Waaye dégg nañ fi Lang Tombong toog na fii ne moom mosuñ koy métital.
Yes.
Waaw.
Mr. Sambu, well, it's his victimization. If he who feels it, knows it, refuses to say it, we let it fly. This is a platform for victims to talk about their own victimization.
Yeah.
If he chooses to pass on that,
yeah,
we can't cross-examine him about his own torture, so we just let it pass.
But a bit of my statement was read to him, which he flatly refused, rejected.
Which one?
The one lead counsel read him here that Mr. Harry Sambu wrote a part of his statement is this and this and this.
Yes, that
yeah.
Torture was the modus operandi.
Yeah. He denied it.
Why did you raise that point?
No, to show you that.
Tell us. We're listening.
He didn't say the truth. And he knows it.
xamoon na ko.
So you are telling the commission that Lang Tombong lied.
Kon
I think
da nga
so,
wax
it
commission ne
Lieutenant
dafa
General,
fen.
CDS of the Gambian National Army, he lied before the commission. That's what you're telling me?
Lieutenant General CDS mi jiite woon soldat yëpp dafa fen fii ci kanam commission bi.
Your answer, please.
I did not believe that part of his story.
gëmuma wàll boobu ci kàddoom yi mu wax.
Are you also suggesting equally that you do not believe the suggestion that he was not aware of the plan to disappear Daba Marina and 4 others?
That's not true.
loolu du dëgg.
ndax ànduloo ci tamit ne moom yëgut pexe mi nga xam ne ñu ngi ko doon def pour réeral Daba Marina ak yeneen team àndal.
Odega.
that's not true.
Waxu dëgg la wax. That's what you said.
Oh, that's what I said in Wolof.
lying.
Odega.
Who is lying?
Ang Tombong
And
didn't
my
say
friend?
the truth.
mais Lam Tombo waxu dëgg ji.
Odega.
Are you therefore suggesting that he participated in the cooking and in the cover-up?
danga bëgg a wax ne Lan Tombo bokk na ci pexe mi nga xam ne moom lañ ci doon def ak laxatu biñ ci def yëpp nëbba ko.
I am.
waaw.
But what is your evidence for suggesting that he participated in the cooking
yow ban firnde nga ci am pour wane ne pexe mi bokkoon na ci.
or the cook-up?
He's been so entangled in it, neck deep from the beginning.
daf ci xóotoon trop ba ci baat.
Is this based on speculation or evidence?
lii danga ko wéer rek ci ay xalaat yoo dégg
Seeing
rek
him
wala
going in and out of
loo am
State
firnde.
House and NIA with the detainees and all that stuff, what conclusion else would you draw?
gis ko ni mu xumbee ci mbir mi di ànd ak ñi nga xam ne ñoom lañ jàpp diggante ci kaso gi ak Mile 2.
But the same thing could be said about you.
waaye mën naa wax lu ni mel tamit ci yow de.
I'm talking about myself.
suma bopp laay waxal.
No, but he did A, B, C, and D. You said he was therefore involved neck deep. You also did A, B, C, and D. Were you also involved neck deep?
nga ne comme moom gis nga ko mu def lii ak léeg tax na nga gëm ne bokkoon na ci mbir mi bon yow tamit def nga lii te loolu mun naa gëmloo nit ñi ne bokk nga ci pexe mi.
Somebody else might think I'm neck deep. Yes, I wouldn't think so myself.
su keneen yaakaar ne mooy tamit dama ci suubu woon ba ci baat.
So you deny being involved in the cook-up?
I denied 100%.
weddi naa ko benn
How much
mot.
dara?
I didn't know anything.
Yëgaluñ ma.
I was not
laajuñ
aware.
ma.
They didn't ask me.
But you were involved 100% in the cover-up?
waaye bokkoon nga ci biir na bu baax a baax pour laxa affaire yi nëbba ko.
If sitting in the IG's office and complying with the suggestion to write this press statement and then going to HE to inform him is that it is.
bu fekkee ne du fekkee ne toog ca place yi inspecteur général bu police la pour bind bataaxel boo xam ne dañ ko war a yóbbu nag ci buntu tasekaay xibaar yi yëgal ko nit ñi dooroo dem àgg nag yëgal ko it président bi kon nag tamit mooy loolu du ma ko weddi.
But Mr. Sambu, clearly you are here endorsing a statement about which you have no information.
waaye Mr. Sambu yaa ngi toog béréb boo xam ne yaa ngi wéral kàddu boo xam ne yow amuloo ci benn xibaar ci mbir moomu.
The only information I had was what Dumbul Tamba said.
Pure hearsay, cock and bull.
Pure hearsay, cock and bull. Si commission bi lañ ko wara waxe dega bi fi lañ ko waxe man dina wax sama boss bokuma how much dara.
The truth must be told here in the commission. I was not part of it. I didn't know it, and I will never accept it.
But that story, that cover-up, was, as you said, a cock and bull story. It was a plain lie.
waaye yow li nga wax mooy xibaar googu mbir la boo xam ne fenul reer la.
I wholeheartedly agree with the lead counsel.
ànd naa ci li nga xam ne loolu la lead counsel wax.
That it was a lie.
That it was
ne
a lie.
fen la.
ne fen la.
Why did you agree to go ahead with a statement feeding the Gambian public facts of such an important issue without having an iota of evidence that what was being said was in fact true?
lan moo war a tax nga nangoo ànd ci jël xibaar boo xam ne da ngeen koy pareel jël ko jébbal ko waa Gambia pour ñu mun a gëm li nga xam ne moom ngeen wax te fekk óor na leen ne amul benn peppi dëgg boo xam ne moo ci nekk.
I think I wrote something in the response to the
am na lu ma bind ci tontu bu
point 5, if not point 5.
Yes.
mooy point 5.
Can lead counsel please quote me?
You said, what I stated in my original statement on pages 4 and 5 is exactly what happened. I only learned about the escape story in the office of Usman Sonko, the then Inspector General of Police. I was fast asleep at home when things happened the previous night, and I state this with a very clean conscience as a true Christian. At that very moment, I had no reason to believe Tumbul Tamba's story, and thus complied.
Not to believe. Is it?
Yes. I had no reason not to believe.
Not to believe.
Tumbul Tamba's story, and thus complied with the suggestion to write the press statement. The element of concealment did not occur to me then. That is what you say.
Yes.
But that is not in fact the case.
Counsel, did he say that in a supplementary statement or what?
Supplementary
Why is this coming in now?
Supplementary statement.
Supplementary, okay.
Yes, supplementary statement. Yes. But you equally had no reason to believe that story.
But here we are talking about concealment.
Yes.
This is why.
But the question I asked was, why did you agree to give your consent to a story which you had no reason to believe was true?
Lima laajte mooy lan moo tax nga nangoo joxe sa kàddu ànd ci xibaar boo xam ne ñu ngi koo feeñal te fekk xamuloo ci dara.
At that given time,
jamono boobu
we were in a situation of, well, semi-state of emergency.
ñu ngi woon ci jamono boo xam ne nii jamono.
People were being arrested left, right, and center.
nit ñi ñu ngi leen a jàpp càmmooñ ak ndeyjoor.
And you wouldn't know who would come next.
xamuloo kan la ñuy jàppaat.
Complying or not complying, if you don't comply, you simply are denounced to be on the other side.
Nangu wala ñàkk nangu boo nanguwutee rek mën ngaa nekk ci beneen boor. Sambu, were you not afraid to go out there and publicly say something that may eventually turn out to be untrue and be on the wrong side of Yaya Jammeh?
Ndax ragaluloo woon ne nga joxe xibaar boo xam ne ca mujjantil ga dinañ xam ne du dëgg la te du féete fi nga xam ne noonu la ko Yaya Jammeh buggee.
Ndax ragaluloo woon ndax tiituloo woon wax loo xam ne xamuloo ci dara xamoo sax ndax dëgg la loo xam ne mun naa ñëw ëllëg doon loo xam ne du dëgg Yaya Jammeh mere ren si ndax yow xalaatuloo woon loolu.
dañ doon di nar a dem ci Yaya Jammeh pour yégal ko.
We were about to go to Yaya Jammeh and inform him.
niñ ma ko waxee.
As I was told,
ñu dem wax ko suñ kilifa.
Let's go and tell the.
su ngeen ko yéebaanee nag ba kilifa bi ba pare. ngeen toog xaar lii xew ku jama sa dahaar naan ko.
If you tell the leader already, that's the time you can wait for it.
loolu moo doon situation bi.
moo tax fi mu ne ñu ngi laa nga wëccu ko.
Lead counsel, wax naa la situation bi.
Lead counsel, I told you the situation.
I don't have a second version.
amuma beneen ñaari boor.
wax naa la ne fii lañ ko waxee li ma xam laa la wax.
I told you, is here where you stayed.
li ma xam laa la wax.
What I know, that's what I'm telling you.
I can't. There isn't anything else.
The question is, we're just trying to understand the circumstances that prevailed.
li ñoo laajte rek mooy ñun dañ bëgg a xam lu leer rek ci anam yi nga xam ne noonu la mbir yi doon doxee.
So you guys issued a statement.
Yes, we did.
léegi nag ngeen joxe xibaar.
Okay. You did not verify the facts as true.
seetu leen ngeen gëstu pour xam ndax xibaar bi dëgg la wala déet.
Apart from talking to him there where he was and him saying that this is narrating the story as he narrated. No.
You did not verify the facts as true.
I personally didn't.
Obviously, you had agents all over the country, didn't you?
am ngeen ñu ci bari yoo xam ne ñu ngi leen teewal ci béréb yi nga xam ne ñoo nekk ci réew mi yépp.
True or false?
Yes.
Wow.
But at that moment, lead counsel, I'm telling you about the meeting there in Usman Sonko's office. And from there, please, from there, we drove into our cars and went straight to State House to talk to Echi. There was no space about talking.
But you were, in fact, at the right place. You were at the Gambia Police headquarters.
Yéen a ngi woon ci place bi nga xam ne foofa ngeen waroon a nekk jamono jooju ndax yéen a ngi woon ci makkaan bu mag bi nga xam ne mooy makkaani police.
The police would have a station everywhere in the country.
Police yi am nañ ay bunta banxaas ci bépp place boo xam ne mu ngi ci réew mi.
The NIA had representatives all over the country.
NIA tamit am nañ ñu leen teewal ci gox yi ci nekk ci réew mi yépp.
The army had barracks almost everywhere.
Soldat tamit am nañ ay dëkkuwaay daanaka béréb yépp ci réew mi.
And these 3 security heads are sitting down.
Te ñett ñi nga xam ne ñoo jiite béréb yi ma wax ni yépp ñu ngi toogandoor.
And they were fed a story.
ñu ñëw jox leen xibaar.
And nobody thought it fit to call any single representative to verify this information?
Te yéen ñett yépp amul ku ci xalaat ne fi mu nekk xaaral ñu oote suñ nit ñi ñu teewal ci gox yooyu pour seet xibaar bii ndax dëgg la wala déet.
The first thing you would want to do is to have the NIA version of things.
Ni nga waroon a njëkkaa def mooy xam NIA ñoom mbir yi ni ka lañ ko gisee.
You are prepared to accept it hook, line and sinker.
Yéen da ngeen pare rek pour jël ko ak nu mun a ñëwee ci yéen rek ngeen jëlee ko noonu.
Lead counsel's proposal or suggestion would have come subsequently after having seen Echi.
Lead counsel kalatam bo mënon na ñëw gannaaw boo xamee ne gis nante nañ ak Echi.
Then you can talk, go back to your office and call and give instructions to do this follow-up as you are saying. But there where we were, there was a time factor.
Okay.
Information as per intelligence, the delay in information and in transmitting of intelligence can be termed as concealment, and you can be in trouble.
Tardel go xamne ni tardel nañ ko ci mbiri secret wali karange man nañ ko gisee rek ak nobatu la te jamono bobu mën nga am ay jafe-jafe.
So as per the suggestion of the chief of defense staff there, well, the 3 of us, it would have been more appropriate to go, and that's what we did, and I followed. We had to go. It was when I reached my office that it began occurring to me what was happening. Where is Sumande?
Where is Sumande what?
Ilan Laduga. How did this escape me? How did it elapse? How did it occur?
Nakala li rëcc ci suma loxo nakalam xewé.
You tell us.
I didn't have the answers then.
But isn't it really that this was a case wherein all 3 of you knew, even if you did not participate, you knew that here you were cooking up a cock and bull story to be fed to the people. None of you believed that story one bit.
Ndax nekkul ne yéen ñetta ñi fa toogoon yépp laat ngeen ne waaw ñu ndey ñu ngi nii ñu ngi toog fii di togga xibaar boo xam ne xam nañ ne dara nekkul ci dëgg te xamoon ngeen loolu.
Man Hari Sambu gomoon naa ko. Foofu noonu ñu toogoon li lang tumbul Tamba wax gomoon naa ko.
Me Hari Sambu myself there I believe in it.
Ba dellu si suma office la door a toog di xalaataat.
When we went to State House at Koba, that's the time I started thinking.
But I believed them. I believed Tumbul. I had no cause not to believe him. I have said it.
After the statement was written, what did you do?
The IGP dispatched it.
So the public was informed before Yaya Jammeh.
So nit ñi ngeen ko ñëk yégal bala ngeen ko yégal Yaya Jammeh.
That is the unbelievable part.
Lolu moy fan bi nga xamne nak neexuta gom de.
Yeah, you know what you said earlier, the first thing you opened your mouth on this, you said we were to write a statement in consultation with Yaya Jammeh.
Ni nga njëkk a wax mooy ne da ngeen war a bind xibaar boo xam ne da ngeen ci war a jokkoo ak Yaya Jammeh.
They had telephone direct lines with him. I didn't.
Precisely the point.
I don't know.
Precisely the point. Yaya Jammeh was being consulted. This is not about Yaya Jammeh not knowing or having to go to State House to inform him. This was about Yaya Jammeh and the security chiefs sitting together, hunkering down and fabricating a statement to misinform the Gambian people in order to cover up the dirty deed of this execution. That is what happened.
That is what happened. I agree with you fully.
Thank you very much.
In fact, lead counsel, you are talking about execution. It did not even occur to me that there was like an execution. That at that given moment, at that period of time, I did not.
You may not have known. I don't have the evidence that you were aware of the execution. But what I am putting to you is that that meeting was not a meeting in which you were doing things in isolation from Yaya Jammeh.
Of course,
this was a meeting in which everything was done lock, step, and barrel with Yaya Jammeh.
I agree with you fully.
So he was at State House dictating what was happening at the police headquarters.
Rightly so.
So he was, in fact, the chief cook in that lie of a porridge that you fed the Gambian people.
I agree.
So it was not that you guys were doing things in isolation to go and inform Yaya Jammeh later. He knew exactly what was going on. He was dictating things.
May I please corroborate what lead counsel is saying?
Just adopt it as your own.
Thank you. Yes.
So this whole suggestion that Yaya Jammeh was at State House, he didn't know what was going on, we were to go and inform him later, was just part of the cover-up.
It's a masquerade.
Dafa mel ni ngeen toog noonu naan Yaya Jammeh mu nga State House yëgul li xew xaaral ñu dem yëgal ko ko loolu moom pexe la boo xam ne da ngeen ko laloon rek.
It was a masquerade.
You could have told us much earlier, Mr. Samp.
No, we are coming.
And save us all this time.
We were heading to it. We were heading to it. You needed to need the details. I will give you the details that I know. I'm telling you now.
If we did not go through the window to get that,
no. Lead counsel knows. I have assured lead counsel since yesterday that I will come here and tell you all that I know. I will not waste the time of this commission.
Lead counsel garal na la niki demba ne dana ñew
protect. I will protect it.
So when Langtombong Tamba said that State House did not know anything about it, you guys had to inform the president. Was he truthful?
I don't think so, no.
Langtombong Tamba waxee is it Tumbul Tamba? Langtombong Tamba bi mu waxee ne State House yëguñ li xew foog ngeen dem yëgal leen ko ndax loolu dëgg la woon.
Du dëgg.
It's not true.
Did you eventually go to State House?
We did.
Mu jëwoon ngeen na dem State House.
Why did you have to go to State House?
Lu tax ngeen dem State House?
That was as per the suggestion of Langtombong.
Loolu moo nekkoon li nga xam ne ni moo doon xelaati Langtombong.
Was it to go and show your heroic report, the concoction that you guys made that was to be fed to the Gambian people?
Loolu moo de dema wone seen njàmbaar yaa kayit bi nga xam ne def ngeen togga ngeen ko pour wan ko waa Gambia ndax loolu ngeen def.
Mooy fen googu ñu togga nar ko jox nit ñi moom ngeen demoon wañu Yaya Jammeh woni ko seen njàmbaar yaa ne li nga bëggoon day ñu fen nañ ko mu ngi nii ci kayit.
Lead counsel doesn't accept. I think so. But I will say I think so, yes.
Lead counsel do lima fok kon nak waaw.
That was the truth. That is what you did.
That was the truth and that is what we did.
Loolu moo doon dëgg ci te loolu lañ def.
So it was not to go and inform Yaya Jammeh that there was an accident and 5 detainees escaped.
Yes, it was not.
Pour dem xamal Yaya Jammeh ne accident la woon boo xam ne rek am nañ juróomi nit yoo xam ne ñu ngi leen téyoon rëcc nañ.
So in effect, as at the time the statement was being written, you all knew that Yaya Jammeh had more facts about this so-called escape than all of you did.
Man, how am
jamono ji ngeen doon bind xibaar boobu xamoon ngeen ne
I
Yaya Jammeh
didn't know. I have told you I didn't know, and I will still maintain that. I was kept in the dark. Suñ bëggoon bu ndongo bi nga balal ma la ka ci olof suñ bëggoon buñ muusoon dinañ ma ci boole ñu bokk ñu toga ko ah boy affaire bi ni la demee de léegi nañ bëgg li lañ bëgg a def waaye ñu bëgg ma jaay fi bandi man ndongo la ñun ndongo bañ ñu def suñ noon seen dañoo yégalante ku ci nekk les stratégie ñu xam naka la ba pare ñu denca benn kaddu kenn ci ñun ki nga xam ne moo gën a nekk ndongo waaye ki nekk mag ñu jiital ko waaye defuñ ko.
Why did you
Wow,
of course, there was an agreement. There was an agreement to cover up. And that agreement was to inform the public that the security chiefs was telling them that this is what was happened and that they would inform the president. But that speech was even partly dictated by the president. Wasn't that the
case? The element of covering up wouldn't come to me at that point because I was not aware, I didn't know. Maybe they were covering up. I was informing. So, affaire bi bu génné fekk affaire bi xew na ba pare te man yeguma ko. Man duma wax ne dama cover up.
Mr. Sambu, there were two cover-ups.
Mr. Sambu la ñaar façon la.
The first cover-up was what actually happened.
La dëgga bi moy lan mo xew dëgga.
Whether these people escaped or whether they were executed.
Mo xam dañu rëcc wala dañ leen rey.
So that story, the story of the escape, is the first cover-up.
Li nga xamne wax ngeen ne dañu rëcc lolu moy nëbba dëgga bi nga xamne sax mo xew ñëkka ca njëlbeen.
You agree?
Nangu nga.
Well, please come up with the second one and let's see.
And the second cover-up
ñaarel bi nak
was your agreement to inform or to suggest that this is the story of what has happened. We are now going to the president to inform him about what has happened.
Moy li ngeen nangu tone waaw li day mom moy xibaar gi ci mbir li nga xamne mo xew legi nak dañ wara dem eggeji ko president bi xamal ko li nga xamne mo xew.
Which was a lie.
Te lolu fen la.
The statement was worked together in consultation with the president.
Li ngeen doon binda yoy yeb yeen ak doon jokko ak president bi.
First cover up bi man how much dara.
First cover up, I didn't know anything about it.
First cover up in Gabalan, with all due respect, how much dara bokuma. Second cover up in Muna am. Because participate now. The under nanyom nyunyata the 3 blind mice.
No. 3 wide open mice. Or 3 wide open cats. Wide open cats.
Lead counsel, you will excuse me.
The second cover-up, you were part of it.
The second cover-up, I was part of it. I agree. But the first cover-up, no.
But you see, the second cover-up became necessary because there was a first cover-up which you had to be aware of.
So you say ñaarel bi mëna am dafa fekk na njëlbeen nga amon na te yow bokkon nga ci.
Dama ca xamul dara.
I didn't know anything about it.
I will tell you, I swear to God, if I knew that this was the case and I was involved in it from the onset, I will agree and own up to my sins. I say yes.
In fact, isn't that the reason why when you went to State House, Yaya Jammeh looked at you as fools?
Ndaxam lolu sax taxut ba ngeen éggé ak xibaar bi ci State House Yaya Jammeh daf leen gisé ay nit ñoo xamne ñak ful la ngeen.
Ay dof.
Yes.
Wow.
Because
he already knew.
He asked us, what are you three doing here at the same time? What do you want?
And again,
the same Tumbul was there. He knew nothing and explaining to the president. He turned his eyes red, and looked at us like this. Hey, you fools, what are you doing here? There where I sat, I couldn't tell you what I felt. am naa ci biir bu metti am naa ci biiri teñe te duma ko fen wax naa ko. I will not tell a lie. I will never tell a lie.
So, Mr. Sambu.
Mr. Sambu.
I must do this, but there you have it. Paragraph 15 of your statement. Take a look at it.
Kaddu yi nga binda ni ci xet bi fukk ak juroom seet ko.
And read it out loud for the commission.
Janga ko commission bi dégg ko.
Paragraph 15.
Okay. At State House, then President Jammeh received us very coldly, asking what all three of us wanted to see him for, simultaneously together with the captain. It was then that Tumbul Tamba narrated the same story he had earlier on told us at the police headquarters. Upon reading this, His Excellency went berserk, rolled his eyes red, and called us a bunch of fools. After ranting at us, His Excellency gave instructions that everything should be done to find the fugitives. And bring them back to book. Patrols should be reinforced. And all border posts alerted. Then he sent us packing.
Well, you wrote this yourself, didn't you?
Yes, that's my statement.
But isn't it shocking that you had to go and inform the president of which he has directed and dictated you to write? Or this first statement was written still as part of the cover-up? Until the facts came out during cross-examination.
Lead counsel, please. Lead counsel, please. Mr. Chairman, appeal to lead counsel.
Lead counsel.
It's not funny at all.
Red-handed.
We are talking about a personal friend of mine who went through something that today.
We have gone past that point.
This is it.
Don't muddy the waters. We've gone past that point. When you wrote this, you still had the cover-up in mind. And you wanted to strengthen that cover-up.
When I wrote this.
And the cover-up was still to make everybody believe that Yaya Jammeh did not participate in the writing of that statement.
I with lead counsel. Disagree with lead counsel. At least for the first time, I am disagreeing openly and outwardly.
Yes,
with lead counsel.
but listen to what you said. Listen to what you said. Okay? Before I ask any further questions,
carry on.
On this particular matter, let me take a few steps backwards. We have agreed, or you have told the commission, that while you were at Usman Sonko's office, consultations were going on with Yaya Jammeh.
They who had the telephone calls with him, I was sitting in my corner waiting.
Exactly.
No.
So Yaya Jammeh was aware of what was going on. He participated.
Apparently, yes.
Okay, let me read out your statement. Paragraph 14.
Paragraph 14.
My two colleagues, Sonko and Tamba, seemingly expressed surprise and shock.
Suma ñaari natangoy Tombong ak Tamba dañ wone bettute ak titange ci mbir mi.
They appeared alarmed and upset at Captain Tamba for being so careless with such a sensitive mission.
dañ wone daal ne ñoom mere nañ Tumbul Tamba ci li nga xam ne noonu la sàgganee ci mbir mu demee nii.
Listen carefully.
déglul bu baax de.
Was His Excellency aware?
ndax His Excellency yëgoon na.
Question mark.
laajte la de.
How were we going to inform him? Question mark.
naka lañ ko ko laajee.
The atmosphere in the room was cold and empty.
ni nga xam ne noonu la mbir mi doon doxee ci néeg bañ toogoon mu ngi seddoon.
I was dumbfounded and flabbergasted.
man nag dama jaaxle woon amatuma sax lu ma wax.
I sat there thinking
falaa toog di xalaat.
how such a thing could have happened without me as head of intelligence not having an inkling of it.
naka la lii di xewee te man mi nga xam ne maa jiite NIA mënuma cee xam dara.
Listen.
déglul de.
Then General Tamba suggested
ci jamono boobu nag ki la General Tamba xalaat ne.
that the 3 service chiefs
ne ñun ñetti njiit yooyu.
should go to State House and inform the president.
dañ war a dem State House yëgal ko président bi.
But before that,
waaye balaa loolu.
we should make a joint press statement and inform the public.
dañ war a booloo binda benn kayit boo xam ne dañ koo yëgal mbooloo.
Mr. Sambu, you write beautifully.
Mr. Sambu binda yu rafet nga binda.
In Queen's English,
ci anglais yu set.
this presupposes that Jammeh did not have a clue about it.
lii fenn la koy wane ne Jammeh xamul dara ci mbir mi.
You sat there and told us that if you were in consultation with Jammeh.
nga toog foofu di wax ne ba léegi yéen a ngi doon diisoo ak Jammeh.
The fact that we were 3
lii dëgg ji ne ñun ñett lañu woon foofu.
makes you always talk about you.
dangay tax rek ngay wax
plural.
yéen.
And lead counsel doesn't wish.
The lead counsel to
extricate me from the 2 and 2 plus 1 3. The council is of the opinion and is deeply convinced that from the onset, I was aware, I know, and I was in complicity with these people.
I think you're missing the point, Mr. Sam. My point is, you have told us 2 contradictory things. In your statement, you told us Jammeh did not know. And it was proposed that you go and inform him, the 3 of you. That's what you have in your statement. Do you agree with that?
I agree with what I wrote.
Wow.
You told the commission 3 times a little while ago that as you were hunkered down at the IGP's office, your people there were in consultation with Yaya Jammeh as to what to put in the press statement. Didn't you tell us that?
Yes, I did.
But obviously the 2 can't be both correct. They are in direct conflict. They are contradictory.
My idea is, as we were talking, issues are coming up, and I'm remembering. You asked me, don't I think that my 2 colleagues were aware and knew?
Are you buying time to think through your answer?
No.
Because you seem to be going around. You seem to be going through Fatoto to come to Banjul.
One thing I know. I was made to understand that Yaya Jammeh didn't know anything about it. That's why I wrote what's there.
The thing is, you wrote this statement a few weeks ago.
Yes.
Even if at the time of the occurrence of events, you seem to have been of the initial view that Yaya Jammeh did not know anything. By the time you saw the consultations with Yaya Jammeh, you should have known that he knew. Why write that on our statement? Why write in your statement that Yaya Jammeh was not aware you planned to go and report to him? Mr. Sambu, let's cut the chase. This was written. You still had the idea to still maintain that cover-up. that Yaya Jammeh was not aware. And that you had to go and report to him. You only came out with the real truth when you were challenged about this. It's not too late to accept the truth.
No. It's not about the. I have never deflected from the truth.
I guess flagrant delector.
No. It's not, as we are talking, you are reminding me, you are talking, you are revealing these things and assisting me in thinking. I'm getting to get to grips with issues. That's what is making me accept. I will not.
Okay, which version is the truth? Yaya Jammeh participated in consultations with you as the statement was being written, or the version that he did not know what was happening? Which one is the truth?
Now, with the statement, I was given the impression that he was not aware. That is why I asked those questions. The impression we had at the meeting there was that he was not aware. That's why I wrote it over there and asked those questions. I'm the one who asked the questions.
No, the issue is not so much about the questions. The issue is about the decision that the three service chiefs should go and inform the president.
Yes.
But how can you go to inform him about something that he had participated in writing? He has practically dictated it to you while you are hunkered there trying to come up with a strategy of what to say to the Gambian people. There was nothing to inform him about. He actually informed you about it and made you write that statement.
I came to realize that later.
No wonder when all three of you walked into his office, he looked at you as fools because you just did what he wanted you to do without asking any question.
I came to realize
that. And it was, in fact, soon after that, you went back to your colleagues and informed them at the NIA. True or false?
Is that what Haidara said?
Yes.
Yeah, I told you the other day that I don't remember.
Well, Haidara said, just to recollect things off the top of my head, that you went there to the panel, they were there, and you informed them of the alleged escape of Daba Marena and Co., and they asked questions, and you sarcastically told them that, well, write down these questions and put your name, and I would take it to the president.
Haidara day li mu wax ma fatale ko rek moy ne ba ngeen ñëwé ngeen jox leen xibaar gi dafa bëggona def ay laacte waye li ngeen ko wax moy ne lepp lu mu bëggal laacte dal nako bind ci kayit bo leen démé jox ko Yaaya Jammeh
ba paré bind ci turam
ba paré def fa turam
nga yobbu ko jox ko Yaaya Jammeh su ko defé tontom dina ñëw.
At that point,
did that happen?
At that point,
lolu mo xew
did it happen?
I said I did not remember.
If you could not remember, how could you talk about that particular point?
At that point, I didn't remember. Having said it here, I will not deny it. Having said it, having raised the issue here, you know, during our polemic, things are coming up. You are reminding about a few things, and I definitely would admit that I have learned a few things. I will take them.
The junglers said that Daba Marena and Co. were strangled to death and dumped in a well.
Junglers si wax nañ ne Daba Marena ak ay ñoñam dañ leen xocc bañ dee ñu sànni leen ci teen.
I heard that here.
They were executed.
nañ leen rey.
I heard that here.
fii laa ko déggee.
By their fellow members in the service of the country.
dañu leen rey seen ay naataango la xam ne ñoo bokkaa ñoom liggéey bi ci biir réew mi fii.
During our tete-a-tete,
ci suñ jotaay boo xam ne ni def nañ ko ci sa office.
I told you I have always refused to accept that Marina was dead.
saa bu nekk dama la di wax ne damay bañ Marina dee na.
The testimonies here.
fii laa ko déggee ci kàddu yi nga xam ne ni dal dinañ ko fi teewal. ci gannaaw loolu na ci la ndangu nag ne.
I've always refused to refer to him as the late.
saa bu nekk la dama dee bañ sax di ko méngaleeg ndem si yàlla si.
Because gëwuma ko woon.
ndax because I didn't believe in it.
Gëwuma ko woon.
I didn't believe in it.
Mr. Sambu, how do you feel?
Mr. Sambu, loo yëg.
Having been Director General.
nga nekkoon Director General.
Of this institution.
ci liggéeykaay bi.
That has connived with other institutions.
muy NIA déggoo ak yeneen liggéeykaay.
Under the direct order of the Yaya Jammeh.
ci ron ndigal bu bàyyeekoo ci Yaya Jammeh.
To fabricate evidence.
ngeen dal di tappale ay misaal.
Against Gambians.
firnde yoo xam ne yéen a ngi ko teg ci kaw Gambian.
Which was used.
ngeen jëfoo ko.
To secure the convictions of these people.
pour mun a am yoon daan ñi nga xam ne ñoom ñooy nit ñi.
Serve very long sentences.
pour ñu yoon daan leen ñu dal di tëdd kaso ay at yu bari.
How do you feel?
naka nga ko gisee.
That you are an administrative supervisor.
te yow yaa ki nga xam ne kilifa nga woon ci ni liggéey bi di war a doxee.
Of an investigative outfit that tortured Gambians into making confessions.
liggéeykaay boo xam ne ñu yaa jiite woon ñu doon def ay gëstu pour ñu mitital mbugal waa Gambie pour ñu wax li nga xam ne loolu lañ war a wax.
How do you feel?
naka nga ko gisee.
Having been the person who put together reports that were sent which formed the basis of the prosecution and conviction of a number of Gambians.
nga bokk ci ñi nga xam ne defal nañ xibaar boo xam ne sabab na ba ñu dal di tëj kaso ñi nga xam ne waa Gambia lañ.
How do you feel?
naka nga yëg.
Supervising and administering an institution that ensured the illegal detention of a number of Gambians for extended periods of time.
nga jiite béréb boo xam ne jàpp nañ ay waa Gambie yoo xam ne jaarale lañ ko ci luwaate mu doonoon loo xam ne mu ngi fa doon dox ci diir bu yàgga.
How do you feel?
naka nga yëgee.
Being the Director General of the Torture Chamber of the Gambia, which was doing things at the instruction and at the behest and for the benefit of Yaya Jammeh.
naka nga yëg nag bu fekkee ne yow yaay ki nga xam ne yaa jiite woon béréb boo xam ne dañ ko daan jël rek pour di mbugal di toroxal di mitital ay nit ci ndigal loo xam ne yéen a ngi koy jotee mu bàyyee ko ci Yaya Jammeh.
As a human being.
comme ni doomu aadama.
As a Christian.
ne Christian.
As a father.
ni waajur.
As a person.
ni doomu aadama nit.
You feel disappointed with your own self.
nga am mbetteel ci sa bopp.
One, you feel having been used.
da ngay yëg ne dañ la jëfoo.
You feel you've let down not only yourself but those you are serving.
da ngay yëg sa ne daane nga sa nekku rek sa bopp rek ak ñi nga xam ne ni ñoom nga doon defal sa service.
You have a feeling of let down.
da nga am feeling ni mbetteel.
It's deeply regrettable.
nekk na loo xam ne lu ñuy réccu la.
Very disappointing.
loo xam ne ni mbetteel bu rëy la.
You would soon leave the NIA and move on to some other institution of state.
léegi tey nga bàyyee ko NIA dem ci beneen liggéeykaay.
But ultimately, you would suffer the fate that a lot of Gambians who did Jammeh's bidding ultimately suffered.
te di nga yëgi tamit ne am na waa Gambie yu ci bari yoo xam ne loru nañ ci ron Yaya Jammeh.
moo làppatoo ko ci olof ñu dem ba ci kanam li la dal mel ni li dal ñeneen rek ñeneen ñi nga xam ne ñoo fa nekkaloon Yaya Jammeh di ko defal limbuga la leen dal momit moo la dal. You got sacked from your job.
daxala ci sa liggéey.
Didn't that happen?
loolu amul.
Yes, indeed.
waaw am na.
At this time, prior to your sacking, tell us about your relationship with Yaya Jammeh.
jamono jooju nag balaa ñu la doon daxa wax ñu sa diggante ak Yaya Jammeh naka la meloon.
Uneasy, strange bedfellows.
duutoon lu yomb.
Could you explain that?
nag loolu mooy lan.
We had a very good working relationship, but very difficult.
amoon nañ nag jokkoo liggéey bu yéwén waaye nag jafe woon na itamit.
Strictly professional. Because
Tell us more about it.
I did not fancy getting near to him.
ndax duma daan doyloo daal jege ko.
You wouldn't know what he meant by from what he's saying.
ndax dooy xam lan la miin ci li muy wax.
So it behoved on me to keep away from him.
daf daan gën ci man rek pour ma dal di ko sori.
You have had several brushes with him. Several uncomfortable moments with him.
am na ay jotaay yoo xam ne yombut de sa diggante ak moom.
Yes.
waaw.
Want to tell?
ñu ko mën a wax.
No, the most difficult one was when he locked up my elder brother.
bi gënoon a métti mooy jamono bi mu tëjee suma mag.
But that such was his modus operandi.
waaye mu mel noonu moom noonu la daan liggéeyee de
He
moom.
will pit brother against brother,
dafa jël mag teg ko ci kaw rakka.
brother against sister,
wala jël jigéen ci kaw rakkaam.
He would,
husband against wife.
jëkkër ci kaw jabar.
he would sack my brother this year for 6 months, reinstate him and sack me.
faa jël suma mag dal di ko dàq ci juróom benn weer dool
Because
di
he
ko
thought
jëlaat.
In fact,
sow seeds of discord.
one of the more frequent headlines was, Willie has bounced back.
Yeah, that's true. No, his intention was to sow seeds of discord between us. He made a mistake.
lii ina moo nekkoon rek pour indi féewaloo suñ
He
diggante.
couldn't.
But
nag juum na woon ndax
not
mënutoon
only
ko.
against you and your brother, there were even some tribal issues in how he would deal with things.
gannaaw yow sa mbir ak sa mag boobu noonu am na nu mu daan doxee di ko jaarale ci wàlli xaajale seen ci ni mu daan jëflantee mbir yi.
You know, when you talk about Jola, everybody thinks Jolas are one.
soo demee bay wax yëfi Joola da ngay jàppare ne Joola yi benn lañ.
But they are different.
waaye nag
types
uute
of
nañ.
Jolas.
am nañ uute ci ay Joola.
Gambian Jola is the funny one.
Gambian Joola mooy yu fuuñ yi.
We originate from Casamas.
ñun ñu ngi jóge ko fuuñ
The
Casamance.
majority of us are Christians.
te ñu bari si ñun nag ay Christian lañ.
That's the difference.
loolu mooy uteele bi.
He had his own people
moom am na ay nitam.
whom he really promoted.
ñoo xam ne dana yokk seen maqaama.
At the end of the day, he would pitch them against us.
ñoo xam ne dana mujjee di leen jëfoo suñ kaw.
But invariably,
Are you suggesting that some Jolas were believed as more royalty than others?
da ngeen foog ne dafa gëmoon ne yenn joolaay ñu gën a ànd ci moom
No,
comme
we're talking about Jammeh.
some thought so. He thought so, yeah. He
Well,
thought
Mom Lola
sometimes they behave like that.
Are you suggesting that he discriminated amongst the Jolas?
Now,
Some
no,
Jolas were given higher priority, more premium than others? Is
daan
that what you're
xaajale.
saying?
I wouldn't know because I'm not funny. I don't know the difference among them and their clans. But I know that he favored his people very much.
Well, you said he favored his people. You mean to say he favored the Jola. But even at that, Yaya Jammeh still went against the Jolas with a very heavy hand.
I know that. I had it.
In fact, I have here Exhibit 9, Mr. Chair, Exhibit 9, and we have received evidence that he killed Mamadou Lamine Nyasi, Buba Sanyang, Ndongo Mbub, Modou Lamine Kujabi, Dauda Nyasi, Haruna Jammeh, Masi Jammeh, Sise Jata, Tumbul Tamba, Musa Jambe, Samba Kujabi, Lamine Baji, all of whom are from Fonyi.
te ñi ñu lim ni yëpp foo ñu leen jógee te wax nañ ne Yaya Jammeh moo leen rey.
And the Jolas he jailed,
Jola yi nga xamne ñom la tecc ci kasso.
Langtombong Tamba, Landing Sane, Ibrahima Bun Sane, Abdoulaye Kujabi, Modou Baji, Ensa Baji, Bintanding Jaju, Modou Manga, Usman Jamme, Pahari Jamme, Alfuseni Jamme, Ibrahima Mare, Kausu Jiba, Wiye Sane, Suleiman Bojang, Idrissa Koli, Solo Bojang, Jibril Bojang, Assis Tamba, Kausu Kamara, and the list goes on and on and on.
ñi mu lim ni ñep ak ñeneen ak ñeneen yep Jola lañ won te tëj na leen ci kasso bi.
In as much as you said, he favored his people, quote unquote, he also went against them.
te comme niñ ko waxee na daan faral ay nitam waaye terewut tamit day daan na leen jàmbu.
Yaya Jammeh was only interested in protecting his own seat as president.
Yaya Jammeh moom li ko ittee leen rek mooy pour mu aar li nga xam ne moo di toogom boobu mu nekk président ci réew.
Do you agree with that?
ànd nga ci loolu.
I said it yesterday.
Waaw wax naa ko démb.
And he used the NIA
te daf daan jëfoo NIA.
to instill fear on the Gambian people
pour ñu dugal ragal ci waa Gambia.
in order to entrench himself
ko defee mu gën a dëgëral boppam.
and self-perpetuate in power.
pour nag mu mun a dal di taxawal doole ci biir réew mi.
In fact, Mr. Chair, the irony is the opening words of the preamble of the 1997 Constitution was to talk against the self-perpetuation in power of the recent past. That was the alleged self-perpetuation in power of the Jawara administration. But everything that Yaya Jammeh did was, in fact, to do exactly the same thing using illegal means. Using the NIA to instill fear on the Gambian people. You agree with that?
I do.
Nanguna.
You would be given an opportunity to address the commission. I won't ask you any further questions about what happened after you were sacked. You can address it in your closing remarks by talking about the impact that all this had on you. But before I close, I ask you one last question. When you were sacked from government, what did you do?
I told you yesterday, lead counsel, that being on contract, I was dismissed. And I know that somebody on contract cannot be dismissed. The contract is terminated either by the employer or the employee. Notice. I was in my bed. I got the SG himself called me. Say that His Excellency has requested that I be removed from my post.
His Excellency
So I went and collected my letter. You are dismissed from the service. And having been dismissed, it means I will lose my benefit. This is to January 28, 2013. This is to inform you that the Public Service Commission has concurred with the decision to dismiss you from the service of the Gambia government with effect from January 28. In line with the administrative procedures, you are duly advised to hand over to the incoming permanent secretary, Mr. Yusuf Adiba, with immediate effect, full stop. So
at least you're lucky. It's a whole paragraph.
Yes.
Could have been a sentence.
I left the date of my son's third birthday. So it was like a funeral in the house that day, but I said no. We had planned to celebrate the birthday. We will continue. I bought the drinks and the cakes, and I told the madam to call the children and let them celebrate.
ma jënd naan yu ci laa génn réew mi.
A week later.
benn bés booy gannaaw loolu.
Why?
He had, for a whole year, from January 2012 to January 2013, he had been threatening me.
Look.
I have been warning you. I will deal with you. 2013 will be your year.
Mune yàgg na man di kupp nag di ma
Tiku.
Wow. So I had to leave.
ko ci kaw loolu ci laa dem.
But in
Ci
fact,
laa daw génn réew mi.
I had applied for a passport,
daw génn réew mi bindoon naa na pour ma am passeport.
but they refused to issue me with the passport
waaye nag dañ ma bañoon a jox passeport.
because I had already left.
ndax jamono boobu génn naa
They
ba
said I
pare.
should come back and collect the passport.
ne war nañ ne dama war a ñëw.
You all know what that means.
What did it
Passport.
mean?
If I come back, I would be finished.
moom mi ne su ma ñëwaatee rek dinañ du baax si man.
So I continued like that.
ci laa continuer noonu.
Luckily, I had a valid diplomatic passport, which I used until I came back home.
am
But I
chance
didn't
nag
travel with it. I just kept it as ID.
laa jël nag
Wherever I
diplomatique
went,
passeport
if
bi ñu
I
amee
showed
woon.
it, and I would be given the due respect.
saa bu ma ko wanee rek dinañ ma jox nag cër bi ma yelloo.
I have a few documents to tender, if you don't mind. Mr. Chairman, you asked me for something yesterday. I traced one. But what I want to say...
Some of the minutes, yes.
Yes. What I want to say is,
li ma bëgg a wax mooy.
you were asking about my relationship with Yaya Jammeh. He
yaa
did
ngi
not
doon laajte
fancy
suma
my
jokkoo ak
mustache.
Yaya Jammeh.
So he said, somebody in cabinet, they're all sitting, somebody has a Adolf Hitler mustache. So,
suma faas yi daal neexuñu woon ko.
don't you see him? Nobody saw, I just did like that. And he said, defense, that's your mustache, remove it. I'll pay for every single whisker. I laughed.
ma génnee suma mustache yi.
From January
ko daggee January 2012.
November 2012,
November 2012.
any travel, that opportunity that I had, conferences,
bunta bu ma am ci wàlli tukki mbiri ay
seminars,
conferences seminar yi
workshops.
ak workshop yi.
he would say, no, the PS will not travel. Let a senior military officer travel.
PS bi du tukki.
These are travels for policy makers.
kilifa yi ci yenn ci soldat yi.
If you send a captain or a lieutenant colonel who knows nothing about what we are going to do, it's a loss.
boo yónnee koo xam ne ni lieutenant colonel la wala captain.
Yaya
xamul dara ci li
Jammeh
ñoo def.
has made us lose something I will never forget in my life.
na ne Yaya Jammeh na tax na ñu ñàkk loo xam ne nii duma ko mos a fàtte ci suma dund.
As chairman, national authority of the OPCW committee here, the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, I was supposed to go to Addis Ababa. I had been to The Hague the year before and arranged with them to organize a West Africa, a sub-regional workshop here, and we did in 2011. The following year, I went to The Hague,
ma dem ci Hague bi.
and we arranged to come and build and establish the regional center here, training center for West Africa in Gambia.
toppatoo na pour ñu samp bi fii.
He agreed.
banqaas bi fii ci West Africa mu nangu.
It was time for me to go. The meeting was to be in Addis Ababa in May.
jotaay bi nag ñu ko waroon a defee ci Addis Ababa ci weeri mai.
He said I shouldn't go.
mu ne man duma dem.
It was going to they were going to approve it and we come and establish it here.
duñu waroon a dem nangu la bu ko fee ñu doxal ko fii ci réew mi.
Senegal and Nigeria were fighting for it.
Sénégal ak Nigeria ñu ngi ko doon xaccoo.
But because I could not go,
waaye ndege mënuma dem.
we lost the opportunity.
man ñu daldi ñàkk na bunta boobu.
Why?
Why?
His birthday was coming in May, at during that same weekend. And he didn't want me to go. I had to go and attend it in Canada.
magali bési juddum nag ñu ko waroon a def ci weer boobu.
He kept pushing and pulling, sending the file up and down. What is the OPCW? Who are members of the OPCW? Why are you going?
But of course, it was his birthday. You had to attend.
So we lost the
bési juddoom la de te dafa bëgg nga teew.
These are things that he played around with.
li mooy ñi nga xam ne daf ko daan jëfoo.
And in 2011, we were traveling on his yacht, going to Farafenni to celebrate his...
Oh, he had one?
He has a wooden yacht at Saro, by some Indians. So we were crossing to go to Bara, and he called me and the former Minister of Local Government, Pierre Tamba, he said, in front of everybody, you people are following your priests and nuns. Don't you know that they are pedophiles and homosexuals, and they are having affairs among themselves? Why don't you come and follow us and leave those ones?
Yéen ngeen topp seen labbe yi nga ak ñeneen ñi te xanaa xamuloo ne am na si ñoo xam ne dañuy daanu ci kaw xale ak ñoo xam ne nii ay góor jigéen lañ. doo leen bàyyi ngeen ñëw ci ñun.
I said, sir, this is not the forum, sorry. Let's talk about this thing somewhere else later.
Sëñ bi lii du fii du wax place biñ ko war a waxee.
By the way, we cannot all be in one boat, it will sink.
ñun ñëpp mënuñoo nekk na ci benn gaal.
Allow others to ride in other boats.
mayal ñeneen ñi ñoom ñu egg ci yeneen gaal.
You can go and sit down.
ma demal toog.
He didn't like that.
loolu neexut ko.
He went to Dasilame, saw my garden.
mu dem Dasilame gis suma garden bi.
And took it.
mu nangu ko.
But when I came back in 2017, I went to the alcalde. He said, you can go and take it back.
Atom 2012 bi ma
They had already graded the whole place, level. Everything. Everything. I lost my contract. When I came back, I applied to government to rescind the decision to dismiss me. They have requested, they have rescinded it, but they have refused to pay me. The balance of my contract. These are the consequences of my exile.
If you play with the snake, don't be surprised when it bites you.
It will bite. So I have some lands I'm still struggling to collect. There is one in Salaji. Somebody is trying to build something on it. I will send you copies of the papers. Maybe commission can help me get them back. But the rest will live in the hands of God. We have suffered from the exile I cannot talk about in Dakar. It's crazy.
It's your victimization, just like that was Langtombong's.
Yes.
So, kuchine kasa leket la.
Wow. Borom lal Muhammad lalam. Ya Jammeh nañ ko bàyyi. He says he wants to come over. Let him come. We will welcome him. Let him just come. We will help those who wish to bring him back. Just let him come. He will find us by the grace of God. Because it's because of him that we are in this jazz. I call it jazz. He put all of us in this jazz. And he's a big blasphemer. I would call him an egocentric, myopic glutton.
I wouldn't say very appropriate.
That's how I describe it.
Date damane. Waxumane non la mel de. Ya ko wax.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, over to you.
Thank you very much, Emma Council, and thank you very much, Mr. Sambu, for your testimony.
Council, Mr. Sambu, ci sédé yi nga joxe.
Of 3 quick points. First, the memorandum that you said you brought, and a notation perhaps on it from Jammeh. Can you just go through that quickly?
Wa ñu ma wax fi ñetti bunta bu ñëk bi moy kayit bi nga xamne mom nga indi ak Jammeh kaddu yi nga xamne mom la ci binda ci lu gaaw.
Yes, there's a minute I sent to
His
Excellency. I said, HE, the Commander-in-Chief and Minister of Defense, that's how you address it. To VIA via the Secretary General. Your Excellency's kind attention is respectfully referred to minute 23 at center of file. The package, sir, was transmitted through the Office of the Chief of Defense Staff whilst I was away on official mission with the then Chief of Defense Staff. It was a package brought in mails. I was also inopportune to meet His Excellency the Russian ambassador during that visit to Banjul, and the subsequent one by the defense attaché to discuss the issue. Sir, the attached issue did not materialize prior to forwarding them to Your Excellency. In my bid to seek for the opportune moment, sir, note, sir, this much time elapsed, resulting in the inadvertent oversight. Your Excellency, sir, no man is perfect, and I am indeed one of them. It is for this reason, sir, that I once again crave Your Excellency's passionate indulgence to tamper mercy in this very holy season of Tabaski. Please accept, sir, my very deepest apologies for any inconveniences I may have caused in the process. Most respectfully submitted, sir. Your Excellency.
Sir.
Signed, Harry P.F. Sambu, PSPMO, October 2012. Now his reply. PS/SG. Next time there is an oversight, you will pay a high price. Do not think that I have lost track of the numerous last warnings issued to you. I never received any warning. You do not seem to have any common sense of responsibility. And this is how he writes them.
Thank you very much. If you can just hand
there are
it to
many
the
I could not
legal
trace
team,
them.
and it would be entered. Credible to have such an exchange between a head of state and a subordinate. Point 2, you raised the Three Blind Mice nursery rhyme. Yame probably was the farmer's wife who had a carving knife, and the three blind mice were running after her. She cut off your tails with that carving knife and you said, sent you packing. You guys went ahead and sent that kind of note to him. Who was the main drafter of that statement?
I think it was the IGP. I think. I cannot remember fully, really.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I think it was the IGP, because we were in his office. I think. I can't really fully remember, no.
And was the statement finally issued?
Oh, yes. It was announced over the radio.
Do we have it on record, Council?
What we have is a very illegible version of some of the contents. It was a newspaper, published in the newspaper. We have it, but it's illegible. That's why I did not tender it.
And the three service chiefs drafted that memorandum, that statement?
Yes, but it was issued in the name of the IGP.
Well, the Gambian people will certainly reply, have you ever seen such a thing in your life as three blind mice all running up and down, and you cannot come up? They would say no. Gambian people would say no. We have never seen three blind mice like that going around. It's incredible. Third point. Today is probably the 2 years, 19 days since we started these summer public hearings. But for me, again, you are I think the 324th witness to come here. But what I witnessed this afternoon is just incredible that the chain of your testimony, there's a link there that I don't get it. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to establish a bracket, a parenthesis, and ask you, if you can tell, without any interruption, and maybe the interpreters can come in and tell us exactly what happened from A to Z when Deba Marina and the co were being taken to Janjambure and the press statement was issued. Just go on, perhaps for 5 minutes, no more than that, and just tell us the story, because the thing was a bit convoluted for me. council tried to bring it to bring in some order there. Somehow I didn't get it. Can you please go ahead, tell us that story of when Dava and Co were being taken to Janjambure, and the entire story. Just go ahead with the entire story and tell us what exactly happened. Oh, sorry, interpreter.
Jël benn juróomi minute rek nga nettalil ñu Daba Mare ak ay ñoñam li nga xam ne yépp moo xew ci seeni mbir ci tënk rek nga waxal ñu ko ñu xam ca ndoorte ga ba fam em.
Is chairman asking me about the contents of the statement?
No, not at all. I'm asking you to tell me the story in your own words, what exactly happened.
Mu ne ndax chairman dafa bëgg mu wax ko li nga xam ne moom lañ binda waaye chairman ne ko déedéet yow ci sa kàddu bopp laa bëgg a xam.
Yeah, it's your involvement. You and the 3 service chiefs, the contacts you had with the president, just the story.
Would you believe that I don't know anything about how they were supposedly transported or whatever?
Fine. When did you hear it?
That day.
Yeah, so go on, tell the story. I won't interrupt you. I just want to hear the thing consistently.
Tumbul said that 5 prisoners were being transported to Janjambure. And on the way, they had an accident. The vehicle somersaulted. It was in the night. And they escaped.
Go on.
That's it.
No, didn't stop there. The service chiefs met. So go on. Continue the story until the press statement was issued.
In the morning, as I said, the chief of defense staff called me on the telephone that we were supposed to have a meeting at the police headquarters. And the 3 of us went to meet. At the meeting was also the late Captain Tumbul Tamba. And there he blotted out the story that he gave about the escape. That was when Chief of Defense Staff suggested we should inform Echi. But before that, we should issue the press statement. We sat down, knocked heads together, and drafted something and gave it, and the IGP drafted it and he released it. From then, we went to State House in a convoy. We went to Echi. That's when he treated us like the 3 blind mice. And sent us packing.
And during the drafting session in the IGP's office, contacts were being made with the State House.
They were talking to him.
I wasn't going to interrupt you, but go on. You
Yes.
left it out.
I could see the IGP walking from his desk to his chair, to the telephone and back, to the telephone and back. But we were there trying to draft the. It was afterwards that I found out that they were talking to His Excellency.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, if you have any questions, please indicate. Commissioner Carr, followed by Commissioner Kinte. Those on my right first. Commissioner Carr, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Jërëjëf Chairman.
Mr. Sambu, thank you for coming to share your story.
Sambu jërëjëf li nga ñëw pour séddoo ñun li nga xam ne moom nga xam.
And for helping the commission.
Ak dimbale commission bi tamit.
I want to ask you 3 questions.
ñetti laajte laa la bëgg a laaj.
The first is, how do you think the NIA became a central tool to perpetuate Jammeh in office?
Bu njëkk ba mooy naka la NIA ñëwee nekk koo xam ne dañoo dimbale Jammeh pour mu toog ci office am.
Can you please repeat?
The first is, how do you how do you think the NIA became a central tool to perpetuate Jammeh in office?
I said it here. That the NIA was Jammeh's baby. The NSS in Jawara's time was disbanded after the coup. So Jammeh decided to create the NIA. He chose his own DG. He chose his own men. After a few months, 6 months, maybe I was also drafted into the NIA. But then he gave the Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council, AFPRC, drafted a decree 45. Which was all encompassing. And that's the Bible of the NIA. And he used the NIA for everything.
Mike. Thank you. How did torture become institutionalized in the NIA?
I also said it here, that Jammeh did not believe in the normal procedures of obtaining information from detainees or arrested people.
Gomut li nga xamne ni moy anam gi jaadu ci ni nga xamne non lañ ñoy joté ay bataxel ci ñi nga xamne dañ leen tuumal dara.
To him, everybody was a threat.
Mom kenn ku nekk ne dal njaxare la won ci mom.
And he has to teach you a lesson so that you know that he is the boss.
Te daf la wara jangal lo xamne ni bu nga xamne mom moy kilifa gi moy boss bi.
So he will give instructions for you to be beaten.
So dafa joxe ndigal pour ñu dur la.
And he will send his soldiers. In fact, fana dafa hebon sax NIA bi ci yoyu dafa son soldiers ñu ñew defal ko liñ ko sol liñ sol. I also said that he did not believe in this maslahating diplomacy and mom dal dole rek.
He always used force.
So for mom fok mo won na ne mom moy bour moy dole.
For him, he must show you that he is the boss.
Thank you. The final question is looking back at your service.
At
various institutions in the country. From the NIA to central government. And the other institutions that you have worked for. Don't you think you could have done more to prevent the torture and other inhuman treatment that Gambians were subjected to?
Thank you.
The more you are talking about would have spelled danger. It would have meant I was going beyond my limits. I have told you about Jammeh and power. Even if somebody had a problem with him and you go and beg, like he wants to dismiss a minister, he wants to detain somebody, you go and say, sir, please, he's a family man, you know, hey, you have come here, I look at you. He thinks that's weakness. You are a weakling. So, with me taking my file, going to him, discussing with him, telling him, sir, like the ladies, let them go home. You want to replace them? Go. That's what his psyche is all about. And wanting to do more, you land yourself in trouble. The testimonies here have told you. You know what more I could have done. And me alone, I would stand out alone like a majority or a minority in the whole sea of seals or whales. nañ ma brand ne ma mu ngay jaay gourmet ya wala mu ngay jaay intellectual ya because I was one of the few guys over there.
I may be seen as somebody who was showing my Christianity and being intellectual.
So it was only when I started bringing in this training program, sending these boys to university,
we
started having
university GTTI.
But I said it here that subsequent directors would bring in their guys in batches.
That
spiral down.
Just a follow-up question to that. I find it interesting because there were situations where you spoke to him about cases you've mentioned even just now, including anti-Ramsia. But would you not say that that would be a failure on your part? Because if I got you right, you mentioned that one of the reasons you took the job was to impact change. And if you took the job and we are not able to impact change, would that not be failure on your part?
In fact, I was sacked before I finished. Obviously, it's a failure.
Thank you, Commissioner Kinte.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Sambu.
Mr. Sambu.
You told us that you were invited as service chiefs to the Office of the Inspector General of Police.
Office Inspector General of Police
And your mission was to discuss and strategize among yourselves how you will put up a press release. And to subsequently meet the president. You mentioned here that you never knew the communication that was happening within your corps was with the president. Is that what you still maintain?
Commissioner.
That the telephone calls that were going in between, you never knew where they were going or coming from until afterwards. Is that what you still maintain?
Commissioner.
Yep.
Commissioner.
Yeah.
President Jammeh is Jola.
President Jammeh Jola.
Okay. Rantombong is Jola.
Rantombong Jola.
Usman Sonko is Jola.
Usman Sonko Jola.
All Fonyis.
Ñom ñep wa Fonyi.
Tumbul.
Tumbul Tamba is Jola.
Tumbul Tamba Jola.
Tumbul is a half brother or first cousin to Lang Tombong.
Tumbul
when they are even sitting down and talking, I wouldn't hear what they are saying, and they are speaking Jola.
Buñ toge di wax
deguma Fonyi. Jola Kasa
di wax Jola duma déggal li ñoo wax. Man Jola Kasa la dégg.
1 2
Ben.
Lang Tombong and Usman Sonko were in this as it has always been Usman Sonko's senior.
Lang Tombong say bu nek rek kilifa la ci Usman Sonko.
Usman Sonko has served under him for a number of years.
Usman Sonko nek na ci ronam di liggéey ci ay at yu bari.
In the security service, if you are senior to somebody,
ci buntu service bi bu fekkee yaay
always
ci kenn.
senior.
Tay bu nek rek yaa koy senior. Yaay kilifa.
Moreover, if he is your kith and kin.
Waxuma la na jamono boo xam ne nii sa xale la.
When they are talking to HE, I wouldn't even know.
Bu ñooy wax ak HE duma ko yëg.
You've not answered my question. Are you still maintaining that you did not know until everything expired?
Tontuloo suma laajte bi de li ma la laaj mooy ne xamuloo woon mbir mi ba gannaaw bi yëpp tasaaroo ci nga ko door a yëg.
No, bi ñoo draft nakate bi ñu dooree di draft kayit bi.
We are trying to draft the paper.
Léegi Ousmane jóg dem ci téléphone bi.
Sometimes Ousmane will get up and go to the telephone.
Mu jógaat ideas come up and we write.
Ideas coming from where?
Mu bind.
Bu xalaat bi bàyyee ko.
Ousmane all lang ñu binda.
Okay.
Just like lead counsel said, that it was coming from.
Make it shorter. You still did not know that Yaya was participating.
Afterwards, I found out, of course.
But you said at the end, I just want to know whether that's what you maintain.
At the end.
Yes. It was only at the end that you knew they were communicating with Yaya.
Yes.
I want to refute that.
You want to refute it?
Yep. In your letter,
It's a letter.
Statement.
a short letter you presented to the council.
Okay.
Amna letter bu gatta bo jox council.
I remember you used many excellencies and many SARs.
The
Yestane sa kaddu yep sa yu binda yaangi nan excellence yaangi nan sa.
Yeah?
the minute.
Go ahead.
Yes, the minute. I remember some other witnesses also said that you must repeatedly reaffirm your subordination to Yaya and His Majesty over you in order to be in his good books.
Jamono bu ci nekk rek fo nga wone suufee goo xam ne suufee nga ko ci ronam moom ak kowe bu mu gën a kowe ci sa kaw pour nga mun a bokk ci ñi nga xam ne daal ay nitam lañ.
And that's why every statement or every other statement will be policed with sa. Am I right? So I think while they were communicating, you must have known earlier that they were talking to Yaya, because the excellency and the sa must be very frequent.
Bon nag bu su fekkee ne noonu la demee war ngaa mun a xam kan la ñoo waxal ndax jamono ju ñoo wax rek di nga dégg ñu excellency naan sa.
Même if they are speaking in Jola or in whatever language, this tradition must be maintained. No.
I know.
Yes. So you should have known quite earlier. So I want you to review that. That you knew they were communicating with Yaya, but you could have explained other things. I was dumbfounded. I was so amazed. I could not even I was in myself. But I knew they were talking with Yaya, and I did not participate in their talking. That one I could take. What's your view?
If you know the topography of the office of the IGP, there's a long chair on one side.
So how many
there's somewhere around Commissioner C. There's a distance. And when you are talking to HE, you do that. You don't want the next person to know that what you're talking about, or you're talking to him. So by the time you talk and finish, the person might be an expert spy or busybody to try to find out what you're talking about. And obviously, I don't think somebody would be unwise enough to talk loud for the next person to hear that he's talking to His Excellency.
It cannot be audible to the extent that the person within the same office cannot hear the communication. Anything from the one side, from your side. That's unbelievable.
My apologies, Commissioner.
Commissioner.
Okay. My second point.
My apologies.
Instead of going to Yaya to confirm that you have already accomplished the assignment, I think you are giving us a wrong impression that you went to tell him you have already made a press release, you are now, coming to inform him of your actions and so on. Do you want to review that one also?
Dangen dem rek pour xamal ko ne waaw bind nañ xibaar go xamne dañ ko wara tassare ak yu mel no nit ñu mëna leralal fofu naka la.
The suggestion from CDS was that
xalaat bi nga xamne mu ngi tukkee won ci CDS moy nekkon ne
after the press statement
gannaaw bataaxel bi wara jëm ci buntu tassé kay xibaar yi
we go to HE and inform him.
ñu dem ci HE ñu yëgal ko
and not to confirm
no
your obedience to the orders.
No. To inform him that this is what happened.
My third point is when you did that, according to your story, your narration, he asked you to go out and make sure these people are captured and brought to book. Was that not his instruction?
Yes. Indeed.
How much has your office, NIA, done? In fact, you are the expert intelligence custodian. How much has your office done to determine the truth from the falsehood as the situation is? How far have you gone? Who did you assign? What did they achieve? And so on.
Ba lolu xewé nak yeen seen office mom lan lañ def kan ngeen sante pour mu def gestu gi ak bu dé amna sax lan ngeen ci jëlé.
You know, Yaya Jammeh loves saying, what goes around comes around.
mais Yaya Jammeh nag dafa nekkoon ku soppa di wax baat boobu lu jëm lu wër bu ñëkkuwaat.
In a very short time,
ci waxtu wu gàtt.
the rumors started coming out like mushrooms.
jamono boobu nag ci la déyante bi commencé di génn comme ay jaatoor.
And obviously, I spoke to my senior officers.
gannaaw loolu nag ci la wax ak kilifa yi nga xam ne nii ñoo nekk si buntu liggéey suma buntu liggéeykaay.
They went down the ground.
ci lañ dem nag saaroo.
No, down the ground. Dañ teg seen noppay ci suuf.
dañ teg noppay ci suuf.
Seen noppay ci suuf pour find out.
ci lañ nekk nag di jéem a seet.
And don't forget, they were also mingling with the junglers.
buñ fàttee tamit ne jamono ñu ngi jokkoo ak jongulas yi.
In a very short time, it filtered out.
ci diir bu gàtt rek mu commencé feeñ.
Who among your subordinates did you assign to go out for the intelligence?
You have liaison offices like lead counsel said.
dañ daan am ñoo xam ne ñooñu toogal ci koñ yi comme ni ko waxee.
Every region has a liaison office.
ndu nekk am na kenn am nañ ku ñu fa toogal.
We inform them and tell them this is what happened.
ci leen yëgal nag ne lii moo xew.
Keep your eyes on the borders.
bu ko defee ñuy bàyyi seen xel ci border bi.
But remember, I already know that you have a whole unit on operation.
Yes.
It is the responsibility of that operation to have gone out, and they will be complemented by your various regional outfits.
That's why I said I spoke to my senior managers.
That includes the operations manager. Can you give one or two names? When you say managers with S, it means you can give me 2 or 3 names.
I wouldn't remember. It's a long time. 2006.
Depuis
They all
2006
posted. When I left, they were moved around. And when I took over, I met some there. So you wouldn't be able to know.
Your memory has been so good in all your coming and going and changes and so on.
That is true, Mr.
You know, it is only this one that you cannot even vividly remember anything.
Well, I spoke to my deputy DG.
Who was the deputy DG?
Mr.
Haidara.
And you ask him, you assign Haidara to all hands on deck for the mission?
Not particularly assigned. There is a setup, there's an organogram, there's the director of external, director of internal,
I know,
director of operations. Now, I wouldn't remember who was where at that time, but obviously, definitely, we sat down at a meeting and we tabled this issue.
In which Marina was present?
No, Marina.
Yes, that's what you said. That's what you just said.
Excuse me?
No.
No. You said Marina. Marina is the one who's been disappeared.
Haidara. Sorry.
Yes.
Haidara.
At the meeting, all senior officers were there.
Yeah, but particularly you named Haidara as your deputy.
Yes, I named Haidara. He was my deputy. He was my deputy.
And that means they went out for the mission.
Haidara wouldn't go out. He at the.
No, I know. When I mean they went out through the ladder, they assigned some.
Yes.
Field hands and so on. And
you have operatives on the ground.
I know.
Yes.
And then in that case, have they brought you any feedback? And I believe some of these things should be in writing, you know, and so on, like minutes of that meeting, and when they came out, the report they submitted, and so on. Can you give us some evidence of any effort you have made to make some intelligence search?
Even if there were those writings, they must be there in the archives. I cannot do anything about it. I left a few months after. And you know you cannot keep NIA documents outside.
Perhaps maybe I can help here.
The council and team, you know, will.
Let me help Mr. Kinte.
Yes, please.
Remember, I have raised this issue twice, first with General Tamba, and secondly with Mr. Sambu. Mr. Haidara said Mr. Sambu came and reported to them that the 3 service chiefs have just issued a press release indicating that these people have escaped custody. So Haidara said that he asked questions because none of them believed the story that the government came up with. And the reason why they did not believe was because they were familiar with how detainees were normally transported, especially high-profile detainees. So then he asked questions. And then Mr. Sambu told him that, well, write down those questions and write your name on it, and I would pass it on to the president. Remember, I just raised that. And he said that he could not remember that. But this is Haidara's description of the matter. It looks quite clearly that the thing died down.
Natural death.
A natural death.
Yeah, because the challenge given to Haidara, he would not venture that. It seems something, Mr. Sambu had something under the sleeves. Because why ask him to, ask individual questions, and instead of following your mission, those are threats to Haidara. Those will be taken to the president. So it's Haidara's heads that will roll. He would not venture that. So that's how he died. So you participated in the cover-up, as Council had always said. In the entire cover-up, you were a participating agent, a significant participating agent. Would you admit that?
I agreed to one cover-up.
This one also? It's a cover-up. Write down the questions and I'll take it to the president. You are the director. It should be from the director. You have already got your assignment from the president. Director down and then something until you get the feedback. So if you ask your immediate subordinate to write down the questions and you will take it and sign it, confirming his implication, and you will take it to the president, that's saying let no one do anything about this. Okay. I'm saying, are you admitting that you are a key conspirator in the whole issue?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
The witness has been put the proposition that there are two cover-ups. The first is to cover up what actually happened. That is the basis of the press release. And the second was to cover up how the cover-up was done. He has accepted participating in that second one, but not in the first one.
Okay.
So the question you are asking is similar. It's like part of the first cover-up, but you can also call it a third cover-up, which is discouraging every inquiry as to what has happened.
Exactly, Councillor.
So, but our position is that they all knew what had happened, and they just decided to keep quiet about it.
So they were all co-conspirators?
Well, they are conspirators in the cover-up.
Yeah.
But in the actual doing,
No.
he said he was not aware, he was not involved.
Exactly.
Lang Tombong said he was not aware, he was not involved. I would imagine Sonko would also say that he was not aware, he was not involved.
Yeah.
But it's for the commission to later look into these things and make up its mind as to what they believe and do not believe.
Indeed, and those officers, those three officers, weren't about to sign their death warrants.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Commissioner Kinte. Commissioner Samba, you have the floor, please.
Harry P. Sambo.
Yes, madam.
Mange la wax ne ci suma xelaat da nga wara jéggalu.
I'm saying this on my mind that you should apologize.
Ci ñi nga xam ne ñoo loru.
Those who were victimized.
Si sa tenu.
During your time as the director.
Because yow yaa dee joxe report.
Because you were the one who was sending reports.
Am na ñu bari ñu si dee.
There are many people who died.
Am na ñu bari ñu tëj.
There were many people who were jailed.
Ci suma coobare foog naa ne war ngaa jéggalu ci ñooñu.
In my mind, I think you should apologize to those.
My second question bi moy.
My second question is,
Nga ne Daba Marina sa tight friend la.
you said Daba Marino was your tight friend.
Te ben ko arrêté isi ko pour hand over si sa office.
When he was arrested and brought him to your office to hand over.
Dem waxe ne kontaan na ne yow yaa jël place am.
When he said that he was relieved that you were the one who took over.
Last kàddoom bi moy.
His last statement with you was.
Hari dénk naa la suma njaboot gi ak Mariama.
Hari, take good care of my family and Mariama.
Ndax loolu yaa ngi ko sàmmal ci gannaawam parce que kàddu dee dafa diis.
Where are you with that thing because it's somebody who died?
Waaw affaire yi jégalu bi loolu moo tax ñu ñëw fi.
For the aspect of the apology, that's why we were here.
Te dinaa ko def.
And I will do it.
Nit la.
I'm a human being.
Doomi Adama la. Dinaa ko def.
I will do it.
Mariama. Ca jamono.
At that time.
Def naa lu tuuti li ma mun.
I did the little thing that I could do.
Waaye mënuma ca woon a sori.
Why not? I couldn't go further than that.
Ñu ma xool.
They were watching me.
Why afterwards?
But after that,
Mutuki.
she traveled.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Jerejef.
Thank you. Commissioner Carr, let me come back to you. You have a supplementary question. As the commissioners on my left-hand side, if they have any questions. Yes, Imam Jallo, you have the floor, please.
Witness.
Imam Jallo, mu ne seede bi.
The various experiences you have had in the services.
Façon xam-xam yu bari yi nga xam ne am nga ko ci sa wàllu liggéey.
In view of the fact that you have been at the center of everything that happened in the NIA.
Nekk na yow yaa ngi woon ci digga bi ci lépp loo xam ne moo di dox NIA.
And knowing the temperament of a bad leader.
Xamoon ni nga xam ne njiit lu bon noonu la mel.
What would you advise your present service chiefs to ensure that they function as is expected?
Loo war a dénku nag ñi nga xam ne ñooy ay njiit yoo xam ne ñu ngi jiite ay liggéeykaay ci anam yi nga xam ne noonu lañ war a defee li ñoo séntu ci ñoom.
Thank you.
First of all, they should subjugate themselves to the democratically elected government, civilian democratically elected government.
ci njëlbeen dañu war a moomale seen bopp ci nguuru démocratie gi nga xam ne ni mu ngay dox.
That the armed and security services are always.
ne buntu yi nga xam ne ñoo saytu wàlli kaaraange waxtu wu nekk dañu war a.
Under the authority.
ci ndigalu.
of the civilian democratically elected government.
ci nguuri civilian goo xam ne ni nguur gu jaar ci démocratie la.
That the culture of impunity.
te tamit nga xam ne ni lii nga xam ne mooy aada def dara rëcc ci.
And the abuse of their uniforms.
ak tamit di jaay doole surtout nag li nga xam ne ni mu ngi jëm ci seen maqaama uniforme bi ñuy sol.
And the lack of discipline.
ak ñàkk yar.
within the ranks.
ci maqaama yi niñ toflante.
And the military civilian relationship.
ak tamit nag jokkoo bi nga xam ne nekk na ci diggante militaire bi ak civilian yi.
These things should be maintained and
lii nag nekk na loo xam ne nii war nañ koy saxal dundal ko.
And the service chiefs should see to that.
te ci njiiti service yi bunti service yi war nañoo gis ne.
Not only that.
nekkul loolu rek sax de.
The welfare of the services, the men and women serving in these services.
nekki ni ñi nga xam ne nii ñooy liggéey ci buntu service di góor ak jigéen.
should be very well taken care of.
war nañ ko ciral bu baax a baax toppatoo ko.
That's their housing.
moo jëm nag ci seen dëkkin.
Their feeding.
seen lekk.
Their logistics.
seen jumtuwaay.
And their salaries.
ak seen payweer.
Allowances.
ak seen ndàmpaay yi ñu cey teg.
So that they wouldn't have the mind to think of any other thing
bu ko
apart
defee
from
nag
serving
booba dootuñ amati leneen lu ñuy xalaat lu mooy def liggéey.
and be obedient
bu ko defee tamit ñu nekk ñoo xam ne ñu topp ndigal lañ.
to authority.
ci wàlli ndigal yi nga xam ne mooy jóge koo ci kaw.
Thank you. Yes, Imam C, you have the floor, please.
Mr. Sambu maa ngi lay gërëm ci li nga leeral
Mr. Sambu, I'm thanking you for what you have just make it clear here. My only doubt here is, the time you were entering into that job, didn't you know Yaya Jammeh before that much? God has saved you already that you were occupying another good place. You were far away from him. Your mind was steady. And later you took up another job where you know that. Every day you are preventing yourself from him and trying to distance yourself. Every day you have a lot of challenges. And the daba you just mentioned, what you first did, you cried here. How you passed through what you did with him. Maybe lead council has told you about him. How you took over his place. And how you praise him here. Less than 2 weeks, you heard about his problems. That was the time you should think about yourself. When you are well educated, that's the time you should have gone when you are with your papers. This is what worries me, how you were maintaining this. Imam, thank you.
Yaya
Jammeh was a human being. Human being is bound to change. Nobody is completed. Myself. What you thought of. And what will happen. Will not be the same. NIA.
NSS.
You know, I was with the NSS.
NSS, them NIA.
I left the NSS, then I went to the NIA. And later I came back. I thought that I could have made some changes, which could be very significant. I'm a Gambian citizen. And I am educated in security. That's what I know.
Normal government.
If at all it was a normal government, like Senegal here,
you
will not hear their voices. When you are sailing a boat, as I was telling you, I was alone. I thought that I was doing all I could have done. I thought that I could do it. My suggestion just failed me.
I'm not some closing remarks.
I have my closing remark and I will tell about it to make it more clear. Dabanat, I never thought that you would go to that level. Honestly, it was something very sad. I was very much disappointed in that. That's what I can say for now.
Thank you, Mr. Sambu. We'll make you, or allow you to make your concluding remarks after Commissioner Carr's got a supplementary question, he says. Commissioner Carr, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Sambu, there is something you mentioned here that you've told the Commission, which is that you are a passive participant in the investigations of the 2006 coup. What I don't understand is when it suddenly became necessary for you to go and inform the president with the other two service chiefs, you were willing to go. So I don't seem to be able to balance the two.
Mr. Ka,
Mr. Ka,
I already said here, we were three. it would have been very difficult for me
dana doon jafe lool pour man
to withdraw from that three something
pour ma génn ci ñun ñetti ñooña
and do otherwise.
def leneen.
The situation was not tenable.
nekkoon na jamono boo xam ne ni nekkutoon lu neex a amee.
I was working on very serious ground.
maa ngi woon ci
slippery ground.
jamono boo xam ne ni daal maa ngi doon dox fu ratax.
And I have to be very careful.
te dama war a bàyyi xel.
So you sing along the tune.
foog si rek nga ànd ci wéy wi.
If not, there will be danger.
su lu ko may rek da nga am ay teq-teq.
Thank you very much. You may now proceed, Mr. Sambu, to make your concluding remarks on your own behalf, not on behalf of the other two blind mice. Please go ahead and make your remarks.
I don't know whether I have my reply here. I must seem to have misplaced it. My statement. Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chairman,
members of this August Commission,
ak ñi nga xam ne ni ñooy kilifa yi seq commission bi.
Mr. Lead Counsel,
kilifa gi nga xam ne ni moo jiite lawyer yi nekk fii ci mbiri commission bi, Lead Counsel.
please permit me first of all
maa ngi sàkku nag ngeen may ma.
to offer a moment of silence
ma def na ab diir bu gàtt.
for the repose of all those who fell during Yaya Jammeh's harsh regime,
ñi nga xam ne ni nag dal seen bakkan des na ci jamono nguuri Yaya Jammeh gu métti googu.
including the late Solo Sandeng.
bokk na ci nag di ndem si yàlla Solo Sandeng.
And of recent, I heard Lead Counsel lost some parents, relatives, parents.
sànq ci gannaaw sax dégg naa ne Lead Counsel am na ay waajuram yu jiitu.
My sincere condolence.
maa ngi àggale suma njaal.
May their souls rest in perfect peace.
yal na leen yàlla xare aljana.
Today's day is one day I have long yearned for.
tey ne bési tey bii nag nekk na bés boo xam ne nii yàggoon naa di ko mébét di ko gént.
And I'm not only very glad,
nekkul rek ne dama kontaan.
but privileged
waaye nag am cër.
to have been accorded
ne jox nañ ma jotaay.
the opportunity
ab bunte boo xam ne nii.
to sit in front of you
te pour toog nag jàkkaarloog yéen.
to tell my own story.
pour wax nag li nga xam ne nii mooy sumay jaar-jaar.
In accepting to work at the National Intelligence Agency,
pour nangu nag pour jël liggéey ci buntu liggéeykaay NIA.
little did I know
gannaaw lu ndaw loo xam ne nii yëg naa ne.
how challenging and demanding it would be.
ay sas yu métti ak ni nga xamee daal noonu la aajo ay service yoo xam ne lu ñuy daw la.
Contrary to what prevailed at the former National Security Service,
di loo xam ne nii uute na ak buntu bi ñu xamee National Security Service.
under the First Republic of Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara,
si nguur gu njëkk gi nga xam ne nii mu nekkoon ci ron Sir Dawda Jawara.
things turned out to be completely different.
mbir mi nag dal di woon indi am wécceeku.
As the old English adage says,
ci léebu boo xam ne léebu la kàllaama angale la.
power corrupts absolute, power corrupts absolutely.
doole dana dee indi ay ger te tamit bu gën a yokk sax gën a yaatal gerit.
I, along with some of my colleagues,
man ak ñeneen ñi nga xam ne sumay nawle lañ woon.
was carried away by the wind of power drunkenness.
ñun nag dañ ñu yóbbaale woon rek ngir doole ji nga xam ne ni ñu ngi ci woon.
under the whims and caprices of a dictator.
ci li nga xam ne nii moo nekk xalaat ak neexaay koo xam ne nii nguur ak jaay doole rek la fi daan doxe.
The events that took place at the NIA,
xew-xew yi nga xam ne nii moo xewoon ci NIA bi.
as recounted by various witnesses,
loo xam ne ni na nettali na ko fi lu bari di ay seede yu fi teew.
confirmed that it was transformed
dal di woon na dëggal nag ne dañ ko wëlbati yoon.
from an intelligence gathering institution
di bërëb boo xam ne nii dañ fay dajale ay mbóot ay luñ xerewlu.
to a torture chamber
def ko na bërëb boo xam ne bërëb bu mbugaleekaay la.
at the behest of the former president and commander-in-chief of the Gambian Armed Forces.
ci li nga xam ne nii neex nag ak itamit ndigal loo xam ne nii kenn la woon di njiiti réew His Excellency Yaya Jammeh.
The amount of suffering and pain
métit yi nga xam ne nii nekk am na fa.
meted out on victims and their families
yoo xam ne nii teg nañ ko ci ñi nga xam ne nii ñoom lañ fa toroxal ak seen njaboot.
was great and immeasurable.
nekk na loo xam ne nii daal xamuñ dayo bi nu mu toll.
Over the years, on the orders of one man,
lépp ci benn at bi ci ndigal loo xam ne mu ngi tukkee ci benn nit.
Yaya Jammeh.
di Yaya Jammeh.
This situation can only be described
lii nag jamono la boo xam ne niñ ko mën a leer niñ ko mën a tuddee mooy.
as regrettable.
loo xam ne nii ak rëcc rek lañ ci mën a amee.
And for this,
ci kaw loolu.
I wish to express my wholehearted and sincere apologies
maa ngi àggale suma jéggalu ci
to the Gambian populace,
ci nit ñi dëkkee ci réewi Gambia.
and in particular,
ak rax sa dolli.
all those affected victims
ñi nga xam ne nii ñoom ñoo ci loru woon.
and their families.
ak seen ak njaboot.
It is easier to forgive
yomb na nag pour jéggalu.
than forget.
ni fàtte.
But the old English adage again says,
waaye ba tey rek ci léebug angale.
to err is human,
ci tooñ nag mu ngi aju ci doomu aadama.
but to forgive is divine.
waaye njëgal nag mu nga des sa borom ba.
As a senior civil servant,
ni kenn nag ci kilifa goo xam ne liggéey na ci nguur.
I thought and believed that
yaakaaroon naa itamit ne.
I was working for the president and commander-in-chief of the day.
maa ngi doon liggéeyal président ak commander of chief bu bés bi.
The government of the day.
government di nguur gi nga xam ne mooy dox ci jamono ji.
My duty was to be committed
suma liggéey moo nekkoon ma am xirtu si.
and loyal.
dal di am kóllëre.
Little did I know
lu ndewul li nga xam ne ni mujjee naa ci xam ne.
that everything would be so personalized
mujjee gi ndeke yëpp dañ koy mujjee moomale kenn.
and centralized
ak itamit sisale ko ci benn.
with orders
ak ay ndigal.
coming direct from the State House.
yoo xam ne ni ñu ngi jóge ko ca State House.
The department was not independent enough
bunta bi nag nekkutoon loo xam ne nii dafa taxawaloon boppam rek.
to perform its rightful duties
pour def nag liggéey bi li nga xam ne moom lañ séntu ci moom.
and became derailed.
te itamit mu nekk.
Added to that,
yokk ca itamit ne.
the frequent changing of director generals
wécceeku yi nga xam ne ñu ngi ko doon am ci bopp ñi nga xam ne ñoo ko jiite woon toujours ñu génne kii indi keneen.
rendered the institution weak and inconsistent in leadership.
nasaxloo na lool buntu liggéeykaay boobu noonu ak ci li nga xam ne mu ngi aju seen wàlli njiit yaa.
The right criteria
li nga xam ne nii mooy doxalin bi wéroon.
and qualifications
ak màcc ak liggéey ba.
were overlooked
dañ li woon nañ ko weesal.
in their appointments.
ci li nga xam ne mooy seen tànneef.
Kinship and loyalty
ak li nga xam ne ni mooy njiit ak kóllëre gi nga xam ne moom lañ ca fas.
mbokaya
ak mbokka ya.
were the order of the day.
moo nekkoon li nga xam ne daal loolu lañ daan doxalee.
The end results we all know.
ci mujjantal gi ñun ñëpp xam nañ ne.
The end results we all know.
ci ni mujjee nga xam nañ ne.
I am inclined to admit that.
nangu naa pour maa ngi am pas-pas pour nangu ne.
Following my directorship.
toftal nag suma directorship njiit yaa.
That of the late Mamadou Keba Jallow Pa.
di ki nga xam ne mooy ndem si yàlla Mamadou Keba Jallow Pa.
And the late Ben Jammeh.
ak ki nga xam ne nii moo ndem si yàlla Ben Jammeh.
All hell broke loose at the NIA.
ñoom ñëpp daal nekk nañ ñoo xam ne nii amoon nañ ay texe foofu si NIA.
déedéet affaire yi biir NIA mel ni daal lu takkarnaase.
affaire yi NIA mel ni loo xam ne dafa takkarnaase ñu ngi jégalu.
Needless to say.
jarul sax wax ne.
all three of us.
ñoom ñett ñi ñëpp.
were university graduates.
ñëpp ay waa university graduate lañ.
and tended to professionalize things.
te itamit pare woon na liggéey boo xam ne ni dañ ko jaarale ci yoon niñ ko séntoo.
without success.
waaye nag mu jëwutoon sotti.
thanks to the interference of President Jammeh.
sant yàlla nag ci ndimbali président.
there was a time.
amoon na yenn jamono.
when the Swiss.
ci jamono bi nga xam ne Suisse yi.
and the Senegalese.
ak Sénégalais yi.
took the NIA as reference.
jël nañ NIA gi def ko muy. royukaay.
in the West Africa sub-region.
mu nekk ci diwaani Afrique sowu jant.
in just 4 years of existence.
ci ñeenti at yoo xam ne nii rek mu ngi doon dox.
but alas.
waaye nag mu jéegi. ndeysaan.
in a personal meeting with Barack Obama's former Undersecretary for Africa.
gannaaw boo xam ne def nañ meeting ak ki nga xam ne nii moo nekkoon Barack Obama
Secretary pour Africa,
secretary ci diwaani Africa,
Johnny Carson, during a 10-day Defense Department sponsored seminar in Portugal, Lisbon.
ci fukki fan yoo xam ne ni nag jotaay la boo xam ne lañ ca doon waxtaan mu ngi aju ci wàlli kaaraange.
Back in 2010.
ci 2010 ca Lisbon, Portugal.
I raised U.S.-Gambian relations.
ma wax fa nag lu aju ci wàlli diggante jokkoo diggante Gambia ak United States.
What he told me was.
li ma wax mooy.
President Obama wanted strong institutions in Africa.
President Obama bëgg na buntu liggéeykaay yu dëgër ci diwaani Africa.
And not strong men.
waaye nag duut ay góor yu dëgër.
A direct reference to President Jammeh.
loolu nag nekk na loo xam ne nii mu ngi ko jëmale ci President Jammeh.
The advent of the new Barrow dispensation in 2016.
li nga xam ne nii mooy nguur ak Barrow ci commencement am ci atum 2016.
awakened all of us, including my good self.
na ñu ñëpp ñu bari bokk na ci
people like me out in exile in Senegal and abroad.
lu jëm ci nit ñu mel ni man ñi nga xam ne nii ñu am naa ñeenti at yoo xam ne nii maa ngi ko def ca Dakar Sénégal yoo xam ne nii jëriñu ma dara bakkan.
like hundreds of others poor and helpless Gambians.
mel ni ñeneen ñi nga xam ne ay téeméeri doomi Gambien yoo.
united in fear and yet divided by distrust.
refugee daw làqu yi nga xam ne ñoo nekk ca Sénégal.
struggle daily for survival, not knowing what lay in store for them the next day.
nga xam ne nii saa buntu liggéeykaay mbootaay United Nations bi nga xam ne ñoo dox lu jëm ci mbiri daw làqu UNHCR.
red tape mooy seen was incapable of coming to our daily needs.
mënoon nañoo ñëw ak si muñ métier.
and uneducated.
ñi nga xam ne nii amuñ njàng mu doy.
in a hostile Dakar environment.
ci Dakar ci nekkin boo xam ne.
permanently roam the streets of Dakar.
saay bu nekk rek.
to kidnap or eliminate prospective enemies.
ngir rey wala jàpp ñi nga xam ne nii ñooy daw ñu dawoon noonu.
on Senegalese soil.
ci suufi Sénégal.
President Macky Sall.
nguuris Macky Sall goo xam ne nii gu màcc la ci politique.
in Sénégal.
lu jëm ci suñ kaaraange ñun ñi nga xam ne ay daw làqu yu Gambien lañ nekk ca réewi Sénégal.
I for one.
man ci suma bopp xam ne nii defal nañ ma ko ci
protection
ak kaaraange ci kër gi ci biir fii.
I wholeheartedly welcome.
maa ngi rafetlu tamit bu baax.
the advent of the Barrow coalition-led government.
lii di nguuri président Barrow gi nga xam ne nii nguuram manko gi nga xam ne moom ko jiite woon.
in 2000.
képp Gambien boo xam ne nii mu ngi xeeñtu lu jëm ci yokkute.
could have dreamt of.
moo xam ne nii mu nga koo gént.
alhamdulillah.
alhamdulillah.
I pray that Allah the Almighty
power
and will to succeed with all his programs within the framework of his NDP.
mu sottal nag ak lépp li nga xam ne nii mu ngi aju ci mébét ci yokkute yi nga xam ne ni def na ko am na ko. anam ngi tàlli gi.
contributed immensely.
nuñ yaatalee seen ndollal ñoom itamit.
towards the success of the removal of dictator Yaya Jammeh in Mali.
nga xam ne moom ñu ngi ko yar nag ci njaboot ak Christian.
We have had national days of prayer at the new dispensation, respectively.
ak tamit jébbal ak nguur goo xam ne ni dañ ko jaarale ci jàmm.
And we will continue to pray for our beloved country, the Gambia.
te dinañu continuer di ñaanal nag suñ Gambia gi nga xam ne ñu ngi ko amal cofeel suñ bopp.
The word secular.
baat bi ñu waxee secular.
eluded us despite our expressed concern.
jaaxal nañu nag ak li nga xam ne tamit soxal nañu.
to the Constitutional Review Commission.
ci wecceeku yi nga xam ne ni am na ci wàlli commission boobu.
owing to a misrepresentation and misinterpretation of the word by some local socio-religious organizations.
Mr. Sambu, I think we are going beyond the purpose of this closing remark.
Mr. Chairman, I apologize. Mr. Chairman, please allow me to express my deepest concern for the youth of this country.
Mr. Chairman, ma agalis li nga xam ne mooy suma xol ci li nga xam ne ni soxal na ma ci réew mi.
I would appeal to government.
dana d'appel nag ci nguur gi sàkku ci nguur gi.
seriously look into youth education and employment.
ñu bàyyi xel nag ci li nga xam ne mu ngi aju nag ci wàlli njàng ndaw yi ak seen buntu liggéeykaay.
May I also kindly appeal to our local political leaders.
na jéggul sàkku yi tamit ci ñi nga xam ne suñ kilifa lañ ci wàlli politique bi.
to exercise tolerance and political maturity in their quest for the highest office in this land.
ñu dugal masla ak muñalante ci xeñtu bi nga xam ne ñu ko xeñtu lu jëm ci seen bunti politique.
The Gambia is a melting pot.
Gambia nag nekk na béréb boo xam ne nii.
and we are all related.
ñun ñëpp dañ bokk.
and the country belongs to all of us.
te réew mi ci ñun ñëpp a ko bokk.
unity is strength.
Benno nak moy doole.
I wish to finally thank all friends and relatives,
Fi may mujjé nak moy damay gërëm nak xarit ak mbokk yépp.
home and abroad,
Ñu nekk fi ci réew mi ak ci bitim réew.
particularly my wife and immediate family,
Rawatina suma jabar ak suma njaboot gi.
my mother, Teacher Guinness Sambu,
Suma yaay ne Sambu.
and for all the support during my trying times,
Ak ci mbolem dimbal boo xam ne def nañ ma ko ci jamono suma tolof.
and to apologize once again
Di jéggalu tamit beneen yoon.
to all Gambians
Ci Gambien ci yépp.
for any wrongdoing
Ci lépp ñaawteef boo xam ne ni def nañ ko.
ever
Ci fii.
through this August Commission.
Jaaree ko nag fii ci commission bi.
I am sincerely sorry.
Maa ngi jéggalu bu baax.
I would like to make some recommendations.
Dana am ràññeef yoo xam ne ni bugga naa koo def.
One, that measures are included
Yoo xam ne ni sàtta yi bokk na ci.
the new draft constitution
Di loi bu es bi nga xam ne ni moom la ñu bind.
for the protection of public servants
Ci kaaraangeeg ñi nga xam ne ni ñooy liggéey ci nguur gi.
who refuse to carry out illegal orders,
Ñi nga xam ne ni dañoo bañ a topp ndigal loo xam ne ni dëppoowut ak yoon.
just like in the recently passed
Comme niñ ko daan defee rek ci nguur gi nga xam ne moom la ñu jox gannaaw.
to also
Te itamit
that proper and adequate measures
ci yeneen anam yoo xam ne ni ay sàtta yu wér la.
are also included in the draft constitution
Yoo xam ne boole nañ ko ci loi boobu ñuy bind.
for the subjugation of the armed and security forces,
Ci li nga xam ne mu ngi jëm ci wàllu benn buntu liggéeykaay service bi.
the democratically elected civilian government of the day.
Nguur gi nga xam ne ni nguuri civilian gi nga xam ne dañ ko tànn jaarale ko ci démocratie.
So as to discourage
Pour nag ñu tayalloo.
the culture of impunity.
Ñu tayalloo nag li nga xam ne ni mooy aada def dara te kenn dootu la ci topp dara rek mu jeex noona.
Long live the Gambia.
Ñu ngi ñaanal li Gambia.
I thank you for your kind attention.
Gërëm naa leen lool ci seen teewaay bu rafet.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Sambo, for your very lucid concluding remarks.
Jërëjëf Mr. Sambu ci sa kàddu yu nga gaaral.
Thank you again for coming to testify before the Commission.
Nga gërëm matam li nga ñëw pour joxe sa seede fii ci kanam commission bi.
Council, I believe we have some exhibits to be submitted.
Yes,
Let's go ahead with those.
three exhibits. The Amnesty International report of 2nd December 1997 should be Exhibit 191, and the minute sheet, minute 24, of letter emanating from Harry P.F. Sambu of 24th October 2012, and subsequently minuted to by His Excellency the President, Alhaji AJJ Jammeh, should be Exhibit 191A.
A as in apple?
Yes. And Exhibit 191B is also another minute from His Excellency the President responding to a minute of a Principal Assistant Secretary from Ministry of Defense, should be Exhibit 191B.
Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Council. Again, Mr. Sambu, thank you again for coming to testify before the Commission.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, you have some more?
Mr. Sambu has provided his dismissal, the letters terminating his appointment his that of 2006 and that of 2013 and that of 2018. That is the commutation of his dismissal to termination. The only issue is that we are not dealing with terminations. So the Commission can receive it or can give them back to Mr. Sambu because we are not dealing with this particular issue.
Yeah.
But I leave that to you.
The only reason why we need to look at it is if he's referenced those terminations or those notes in his statement. If they are referenced in his statement, we can give them exhibit numbers.
They are referenced in his testimony.
Splendid. Let's go ahead and then
Okay,
give them
that
numbers.
should be The 2006 letter, 10th November 2006, should be Exhibit 191C, and the letter of 28 January 2013 informing him of a dismissal would be Exhibit 191D, and the commutation of the dismissal to termination should be Exhibit 191E.
That completes that?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Counsel. This brings us to the end of our proceedings for this evening. We will resume tomorrow morning, sharp 10 o'clock. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Your Excellency, Echi Adama Barrow. Your Excellency,